A lot of reasons to put a smile on your face today. We celebrate Polish heritage here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Polish Racing Sausage Bobblehead Day. The Brewers in their special uniforms. Pivo Vaza Day today at Miller Park. And it's a beautiful day for baseball. They're already dancing here. Got a big crowd expected, and the Brewers trying to make it a 3-game sweep of the Atlanta Braves. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. A Polish greeting, Cześć today. I think that's right, but you get the idea.
Be careful with that.
I know it can be very dangerous, okay. But this is a fun day. This is one of those days you can hear a lot of accordions. And hopefully we're going to see some great baseball. And the Brewers have been pitching the lights out here in the first 2 games of this series. 18 shutout innings against a division-leading ball club in the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, starting pitching has been very good, to say the least. But the Brewers, it took them just about 2+ months to get their first shutout. Now they have 3 of them in the last 8 days. I mean, outstanding pitching all the way up and down. And when you go back even further, the last 4 games for the Brewers have been very good. 5 earned runs total between Gallardo, Lowe's. You had the 2 shutouts. Peralta throwing the baseball well. Donovan Hand really picking up the slack. But when you have a shutout, obviously, the bullpen's going to be involved. The Brewers still not without a complete game. So John Axford, K-Rod, 3 appearances each. 3 innings, no runs. Both of these guys have been throwing the baseball extremely well.
Now they had a historic save yesterday for K-Rod, number 300 in his illustrious career. Alfredo Figueroa gets the ball today, and we'll kick it over to Jerry Augustine when we come back. He'll break down Figueroa and his big start against the Braves. Brewers going for the sweep.
Money and all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Toyota, let's go places. The Polish bobblehead giveaway day here at Miller Park. Big crowd on hand. Brewers trying to sweep away the Atlanta Braves. And today's starting pitchers, Paul Mahalan, Alfredo Figueroa on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers here this afternoon. Jerry and Craig back on board. In our Brewers Live pregame just moments ago, you called Alfredo Figueroa Mr. Opportunity. He's had some opportunities to start. This will be his fifth today, and for the most part, he's ran with it.
Yes, he has. He's thrown the ball very well. And when we talk about Alfredo Figueroa, it's all about confidence and command, and it starts with that fastball. Being able to locate the fastball is really what he needs to have. Once he gets command of that fastball, he gets ahead of hitters. He's able to use his off-speed stuff, and when he puts it all together, he throws the ball very well.
The problem is, though, on the flip side, Jerry, when he's relying too much on that fastball, it's the command of the off-speed where he's had issues. How does he correct that today?
Well, what he has to do, he has to go out there and he has to be a strike thrower in the game. Think about what we talk about a guy pitching good, and that's all about location. Locate the ball, throw the ball over the plate, get ahead of hitters, and then everything will fall into place.
All right, Figueroa getting another chance today. First pitch is on the way. BN Rocker set to take you the rest of the way here on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Afternoon here at Miller Park, and the Brewers and the Braves. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minard, our reporter. Today's game being produced by Wave Robinson, directed by Kevin Shank. There's Freddie Gonzalez, the skipper of the Atlanta Braves, and his Braves still in first place, but they have fallen on hard times as of late. They dropped 3 out of 4 to the Mets at Turner Field, and they've come here and dropped the first 2 games of this series, and their lead is down to 5 games in the National League East. No Justin Upton today for Freddie Gonzalez. He's out with a wrist injury. The rest of the Piggly Wiggly batting order is Jordan Schaefer again in the leadoff spot, subbing in left field for Upton. And then you got Simmons and Hayward at the top. Freddie Freeman, B.J. Upton, and Brian McCann in the middle of the order, with Dan Uggla, Chris Johnson, and Paul Mahalem rounding out the starting 9 for the Braves.
And Alfredo Figueroa making his 5th start of the year, 21st appearance overall, very good earned run average. Made 2 starts on the road trip, one very good one. He picked up a win against the Marlins in Miami and then got roughed up against the Astros. Lasted only 4 1/3, gave up 4 earned runs. And let's check out the Menards Brewers defense for tonight. Caleb Gindel gets a start out in left field, his 2nd big league start. Logan Schaefer gets the day off. Jonathan Lucroy back behind home plate, and he will hang the signs for Figueroa today.
And it was a day of congratulations for a number of Brewers. K-Rod with his 300th save, and Caleb Gindel yesterday with his first major league hit, and it is proudly displayed in his locker in a protective case, and that hit came against Tim Hudson. So Gendel gets the start here today as Logan Schaefer, just a routine day off. Brewers decked out in their specialty uniforms today, the Pivo Vaza uniforms, as we celebrate Polish heritage in Milwaukee, Wisconsin today. And there was an all-fan giveaway on the bobbleheads as well. The racing sausage, the Polish, the #2 racing sausage, given away for all the fans. You see what Figueroa has done in his last 3 outings. Had a fantastic start against the Marlins, 7 shutout innings. Came back. He cited a little bit of fatigue in his last time out against the Astros and gave up 4 runs in 4 1/3. We'll see how he goes today.
Yeah, and that fatigue showed up, not really able to command his breaking pitch. That was the only difference between Figueroa against the Marlins and the Astros.
4-man umpiring crew in place. The home plate umpire is Manny Gonzalez. Tony Randazzo, Brian Gorman, and Larry Vanover on the bases. There is the crew chief, Brian Gorman. And we are just about set for baseball today. The Braves in town for the final game of this series, and final time we'll see them this year. And Figueroa ready to deal to Schaefer. First ball swung on, missed, and away we go. Well, Jerry Augustine talked about Figueroa and this opportunity that is in front of him. He has a chance to remain in the rotation, but there are some decisions that will need to be made. Today, Marco Estrada is pitching in Appleton for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. He's coming back from a hamstring injury, and that's one spot that's going to be taken in the rotation. Figueroa wants to make sure he's in that rotation. That ball is down the right field line. Over to cut it off is Aoki, and Schaefer on his way to second with a double. So a leadoff double for the Braves.
Yep, on a 0-2 pitch. You know, all 3 pitches to Schaefer fastballs, mid-90s, and on an 0-2 pitch came inside, but Schaefer looked as though he was waiting for it and tucked it inside that first baseline for a double.
Yuri Betancourt getting the start at first base, just out of his reach. Now the Brewers have shut out the Braves the last 2 games. 18 shutout innings for Milwaukee pitching against the heavy hitting Braves. They do strike out a lot, but top home run hitting team as well. But they're without a big bat today, rocking Justin Upton, and who knows how long he's going to be away.
Yeah, with that wrist. I mean, those are injuries that have a tendency to, stick with you for a while, even when he gets back in the lineup. But we talked about the Braves and their offense, a couple of days ago. You keep these guys in the ballpark, you have a pretty good chance of beating them, and that's what the Brewers have been able to do. They hit a lot of home runs. They are not very good with runners in scoring position.
Their terrific young shortstop Andrelton Simmons in the 2-hole today. He led off in the opener on Friday night, and since Jordan Schaefer has been in the lineup, he's batted second. He fouls that one off Lucroy.
Nice hot day here in Milwaukee. Temperature is supposed to reach 90 degrees. And the Brewers sporting the red hats, the red undershirts. They're in the whites. The Braves, for some reason, decided to go with the dark jerseys on a day like today.
They saw signs plastered all over the Brewers clubhouse and on the way out to the dugout. Giant letters saying hydrate. Hot and humid today. Just a reminder for the players to make sure they don't cramp up. That's a little flare, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So this one starts a little shaky for Figueroa. A ground ball that goes down into the corner for a double, and then a flare base hit by Simmons.
Yeah, it was supposed to be on the outside corner, ended up in. And Simmons able to fight it off into center field. Gomez got a late break on it. And first and third, nobody out.
And if Gomez can't get to it, then nobody can. So first and third, nobody out for Jason Hayward. Hayward with 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Hayward spending some time on the disabled list. Earlier this season had an appendectomy in late April. Came back from the DL after 3 weeks. Returned on May 17th. He won the Gold Glove last year, his first career Gold Glove last season. A supreme defender.
And very fast in the outfield, covers both sides pretty well in the gap and down the line, and a very good throwing arm out in right field. And he can hit some home runs. Off to a slow start.
Hayward hit 27 home runs last year. He drove in 82. Keeping him on the field has been the challenge for Atlanta. Last year he had a full season. He played in a career high 158 games last year, and the numbers reflected the amount of games he was able to post.
Man, that's the key to everybody in the big leagues. You play enough, you're going to be able to put up your numbers. Key is be consistent enough to play every day and stay healthy.
First and third, nobody out. Figueroa in an early jam here. He's got Hayward down in the count 1-2. Could use a strikeout. And Hayward muscles it foul. Hayward had a 2020 season last year. He stole 21 bases to go along with those 27 home runs. The first Brave to do that since Andrew Jones hit 36 homers and stole 21 bases back in 2000. And that's more a result of the Braves' philosophy. They don't steal a lot of bases typically. And there's a swing and a miss. So Hayward strikes out. That's a big one for Figueroa, and it gives him a little light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, showing the breaking ball against Jason Hayward. He got ahead in the count. He threw a curveball early in the count, and here's another one. And Hayward right underneath. Doesn't have to be a perfect off-speed pitch. Just have to throw it for strikes a lot of times when you throw as hard as he does.
Now the Braves overall as a ball club, as Rock mentioned, very poor with runners in scoring position, but the man at the plate is not. He is their best hitter in spots like this, Freddie Freeman.
And one of the reasons why they don't do a good job with runners in scoring positions is because they strike out a lot. I mean, no team in the National League strikes out more. Usually guys that make good contact, hit the ball the opposite field, those are the guys that do well in these spots.
Freddie Freeman is currently third in the National League in batting average with runners in scoring position. He's hitting .433. He's hitless in this series, 0 for 8. Yesterday Freeman 0 for 4 with a strikeout. And he was the final out in Francisco Rodriguez's 300th save. He got him on a changeup.
The Brewer starters have handled the top of the Atlanta order pretty well. Matter of fact, you know, 2 shutouts, they've handled everybody, but you keep Hayward, Freeman, and Upton quiet, you've got a good shot.
B.J. Upton is on deck. See if he has the green light. 3-0. Threw him a breaking ball. 3-0. Looked like Figueroa wanted no part of Freeman in that spot. He'll take his chances with B.J. Upton.
A lot of curveballs from Alfredo Figueroa. Usually is the slider and fastball. To the left-handers, it looks as though he's trying to establish a curveball. Don't see too many of those from him.
Now that's what the Braves are missing without Justin Upton in the lineup. You're not going to pitch around Freddie Freeman, or you're not going to pitch around a cleanup hitter to get to a number 5 hitter on most days. But with Upton out of the lineup, it elevates everybody else, and BJ is now hitting 5th. He comes in with a batting average of 178. His numbers are much better in the month of June. He's hit in 6 of his last 9 games, but still a rough season overall, and driving in very few runs this year. Just 17 RBIs for BJ Upton. And it's 0-2.
Yeah, that's the bad news, that BJ Upton really hasn't gotten going. Good news is they're in first place. A lot of guys that have been underperforming, for the Braves offensively. Dan Uggla, Upton, a couple of those two, and they're still in first place. And you figure both of them are going to start turning it around at some point.
Braves have terrific pitching. They are second in the National League in ERA, only behind the Pirates. And a swing and a miss. Figueroa strikes out Upton for the second out of the inning.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Started him out with a curveball, and that's what got into B.J. Upton's head. The first pitch curveball, and he threw it for a strike. This is what sets up the entire at bat. And then he goes after him with a fastball, fastball up, fastball in. See you later.
Well, one more piece to the puzzle here for Figueroa, but a dangerous hitter in Brian McCann. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And McCann takes a ball down and in. McCann has 9 career grand slams. He spent the first month of the season on the disabled list after shoulder surgery last offseason. 7 homers, 17 runs batted in. He is also hitless in this series. Braves had 2 hits on Friday, 4 hits yesterday. And it's 2-0. Schaefer started the inning with a double. Simmons had a jam shot single into center field, and Freeman walked. Couple of strikeouts for Figueroa.
I know McCann's sitting fastball here, and really Figueroa has no choice but to throw him one. Nowhere to put him.
He got a fastball by him. In a fastball count, McCann chases one on the inner half, and it's 2-1.
It just ate him up. I mean, 94 miles an hour. We've already seen a 97 from Figueroa today. It takes getting used to see the Brewers in red hats.
No. Polish red. See what the Braves have done in the month of June. Been a rough month offensively. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of runners left on base, the most in the big leagues actually. And McCann hits that one high and deep. Gendel on the run. That's trouble. And that's a grand slam for Brian McCann. Well, one swing of the bat erases all of that. And a 4 spot on the board for the Atlanta Braves in the first inning.
Yeah, putting yourself in a fastball situation, getting behind 2-0 in the count. That makes everybody a much better hitter. Brian McCann gets a 2-1 fastball out over the plate, puts a good swing on it, and it appears the baseball is going to be traveling pretty well today. Opposite field salami for McCann, his first hit in the series.
Figueroa was right there, had a chance to get out of it, but McCann is an all-star for a reason, and that is a huge hit for the Atlanta Braves. This is a team that has struggled mightily offensively, but a grand slam erases some of those thoughts right away. 4-0 in the first. Figueroa just continues to be bitten by the big inning.
And the home run ball. It's 11 he's given up. 11 home runs in 51 2/3 innings.
Ball and 2 strikes on Uggla. And he got him. He strikes out the side, but gives up a blast to Brian McCann. His 10th career grand slam makes it 4-0. some trouble here early. A grand slam for the Atlanta Braves catcher, and it's 4-0. Ron Renicky will have to see if his team can play catch up today against left-hander Paul Maholm. Here's Renicky's batting order today, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Aoki leads off, then Segura followed by Gomez. Middle of the order is Lucroy, Weeks, and Betancourt, with Bianchi getting a start at third base, Caleb Gendel in left, and Figueroa on the mound batting ninth.
And Paul Maholm, his second year with the Braves, he got traded from the Cubs over to the Braves. Trading deadline last year, 16 starts, 7-6 record. His struggles this year have been on the road. He's 3-4 with a 489 earned run average and 9 road starts. The Menards Braves defense already talked about Jordan Schaefer in left field, Justin Upton out, and Brian McCann will catch Paul Maholm today.
So Aoki leads off. First pitch from Maholm is outside, ball one. Brewers have two left-handed batters in there today, Gendel and Aoki. Aoki's done a great job against lefties this season. He's hit for a .343 batting average against left-handed pitching. That is remarkable.
Yeah.
.297 overall.
And he's 4 for 5 career against Paul Maholm. Top of the Brewers order has had good success against Maholm. Maholm struggled against Milwaukee. There you see the numbers for Nori. Only much better against left-handers than right.
That .343 mark is good enough for 8th best in the National League for all hitters against left-handed pitching. Two balls and a strike, and Aoki in the air to left. Jordan Schaefer will haul it in for out number one.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a short arm delivery out of the left-hander Paul Maholm, who the Brewers remember as a member of the Pirates. Spent a lot of time as a starter with the Pirates. A classic left-handed delivery, and kind of cuts off the follow-through, which means he's going to have a little bit of a sink to his fastball.
Now, Maholm started the season by winning his first 3 decisions and not allowing an earned run for Atlanta. 3-0, a 0 ERA in his first 3 starts. 7-6 at this point, pitching to a number of decisions. Has pitched to a decision in all but 2 of his starts this year. Gene Segura comes in batting .334.
And Maholm's numbers kind of go along with the Braves and what they've been doing at home. The Braves with a tremendous home record this year. And Maholm in 6 home starts, 4-2 with a 180 earned run average. But like the Braves, Maholm has struggled on the road.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Segura. Take a look at the last 3 for Maholm. His last time out, he took a loss against the Mets, but pitched okay. He gave up just 2 earned runs in 7 innings. Took a loss against the Padres as well.
And Maholm has struggled mightily against Milwaukee. This is his 23rd start against the Brewers. He's 3-11.
Yeah, most of that damage done as a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Segura down the right field line. Hayward will run it down.
Covers a lot of ground, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. The Gold Glove form of Jason Hayward takes an extra base hit away.
A big long wingspan, able to track that one down the line, and with long arms able to reach it for the out. And it played pretty much straight away, a little bit toward the line, but goes across and made it look easy. Ball hung up for Segura just a little bit.
Two up, 2 down. Here's Gomez, who lines one foul. Carlos Gomez with terrific numbers against this left-hander. 8 for 18 lifetime with a home run. Just 1 hit in this series. Gomez had a terrific road trip. And he's hit by a pitch. So Maholm clips Gomez.
Well, Mahalam knows that Gomez hits him pretty well. Just wants to keep him honest on the inside corner. Mahalam doesn't throw hard. And he's hit his 8th batter, so he tries to come inside. He keeps hitters off the outside corner by coming inside. He wants to try and get you out of the way, though.
He got him right below the knee.
And that one wasn't even close.
Only the Pirates and the Reds hit by more pitches than the Brewers this season. And most of that with the Reds coming from one guy, Shin Soo Choo. Jonathan Lucroy with 2 away. Brewers trying to answer a 4-run first by Atlanta. Ryan McCann's grand slam with 2 outs. Feels like a day for offense, though. It's hot, it's humid, there's a little bit of wind blowing, and as it swirls through this ballpark, it tends to blow out toward right center. The pitching has been the story for Milwaukee in this series. Willie Peralta on Friday night. Donovan Hand got an emergency spot start yesterday. He pitched very well. Donovan's going to join us next inning from the dugout. Outstanding relief pitching as well. Gomez takes off. McCann's throw to second. He is not in time. Carlos Gomez steals a base. That answers the question, are the Brewers going to slow down their running game down 4-0?
No. Well, you know Gomez isn't. And guys that can steal bases, you're not going to stop. McCann's throw pretty good, but Gomez had a very good jump. What looked like he went on the first move from Mahalam, and able to beat it.
That is stolen base number 15 for Gomez. And now a base hit can get a run in as Lucroy fouls it back.
Yeah, Jonathan's had good success against Paul Mahalam. 4 for 8 with a home run. So the top of the Brewers order has had a lot of success against this guy.
Lucroy has been the Brewers' best hitter with runners in scoring position. Down in the count, and the 1-2 is pulled foul. Those are the numbers for Lucroy. He's had a couple of 10th inning game winners this year for the Brewers. Had a sac fly on opening day as a game winner, a walk-off, and then he hit a home run in the 10th inning against the Cardinals. Proved to be a game winner as well. He's been clutch. Started the season slowly at the plate, but has had a pretty good run here as of late. Lucroy's been driving in a ton of runs.
Well, he's just getting back to what he was able to do last year, and that's just stay back, hit the ball where it's pitched, not jumping at the baseball. And early in the season, looks like he was getting a little bit jumpy, rolling over on pitches, and a lot of 6-3 putouts. We don't see that much from Lucroy these days.
Now, Lucroy, you could take it back 26 games now. His last 26 games, he has 21 runs batted in, hitting .362. And he goes down on strikes. He chased a fastball upstairs. And Mahalam with a shutdown inning in the first. is Donovan Hand. And welcome to the broadcast, Donovan. Terrific outing yesterday, and that had to feel great. You grew up in Braves country, and you have a performance like that against the Atlanta Braves.
It did. I watched them on TV many days growing up, and it was a lot of fun. I watched some of the guys, McCann, some of those guys come up. Actually faced Freeman and Hayward quite a bit in the minor leagues, so it was definitely fun to do and give us a chance to win and end up winning the game.
How does your approach change, going into a start? Notice you didn't have a windup. Is that something you thought about doing, perhaps?
Yeah, I did, and I just kind of keep it all the same, and it ended up, it's what happened. So really just try to keep it like a bullpen outing, and I've been in there in the second inning before, so just because it was the first didn't really change anything.
Now, I noticed you're over there sitting with Gallardo and Loesch. I mean, now, you with the starting group or bullpen? Where are you right now?
I have no idea. I guess the utility pitcher role.
That ball is carrying out of here. Wow, the ball is really flying today. Can you attest to that, Donovan? Down on the field, that ball jumped off the bat.
The wind's kind of blowing out towards the gaps today. The panels yesterday was blowing in a little bit, I believe, but yeah, that one I didn't think McCann hit that well in the first, but we're getting out today.
So that makes it 5-0. I know you said all the right things, and certainly your performance yesterday speaks for itself, 4 2/3 innings. But how frustrating was it that you were perhaps an out away from your first major league win?
Yeah, kind of being selfish, but yeah, one more out, man. That's all it took, and just couldn't get there. Really was out of gas. It was a good time to take me out. You never know. It's a 1-0 game, and with Johnson coming up in the pitcher, it'd been nice to face him, but probably a good time to get me out. My legs kind of left me. My arm was fine. It was just the up and down 5 times that got me. The 8 pitches in between each inning, and like I said, the arm was fine, but just being up and down that many times and plus 2 at bats, I kind of run hard out of the box. Thought I might have a chance to get up the middle, but yeah, it was probably a good time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun watching you pitch, Donovan. You throw a lot of strikes. The one pitch that I'm intrigued by is that slow curveball that you throw. It seems like you don't have much on it, but it has a sharp break on it. I mean, how did you develop that, and how long have you had that pitch?
Really, this year is when I started using it later in counts. Last year, I kind of put it in. Everything for me was my fastball on a good day, 92 at tops, and then my slider at 84, 85. Changeup was kind of 82, so everything's in that range, and nothing really ever gave the hitter a chance to slow down. So Lee Tunnell, actually 2 years ago, and he was still with me, not the bullpen coach here, we kind of put that in spring training to try to slow him down and not have to make me be so perfect with my fastball and other things.
All right, Donovan, we appreciate your time. On your way out, how do you say Pivo Vazzi in Alabama?
Pivo Vazzi. Does that sound good?
That's good. That's good.
Perfect.
I like it.
Perfect. There you go. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us today, Donovan.
Thanks for having me on.
There's a bunt by Schaefer that gets by Figueroa, and that's going to go as an infield hit. He's a great guy, Donovan Hand. He's funny. He is, he's one of those life of the party type characters, but he was all business yesterday, partner, and he was very good yesterday, and that opened up some eyes, I think, with the Brewer coaching staff yesterday.
Yeah, he's got a lot of poise out there in the mound, as you mentioned. He's got the 3 pitches and the big curveball that slows guys down a little bit. But boy, I tell you, he gave Ron Renicky a lot more than he had anticipated. Got into the 5th inning, and a big part of that shutout, obviously, yesterday.
I want to bring in Sophia here. She has more on Donovan Hand. And Sophia, I know Ron Renicky, just talking to him today, he was pretty effusive in his praise of the right-hander yesterday.
He really was, and he said that he enjoyed yesterday's game as much as you could enjoy a game, and it was great to just see him smile and say that, because he said that Hand, more than anybody else right now, understands that it's better to be able to change speeds. He said often guys think they just want to be too perfect with that fastball. You heard Hand mention that just a minute ago, and he said that was what made Hand so successful yesterday, his ability to change speeds, keep them off balance, and then you can get away with mistakes with that fastball. He was hoping Figueroa could follow up on that game plan here today. And Rock, you said earlier that you've seen him try to implement more of the curveball. As a catcher, do you think that's part of the game plan, and how does he continue to move forward?
I think that the curveball is going to be a big part of what he has to do if he continues to want to be in that starting rotation. But as he said, I mean, just talk about taking a little bit off and having something other than 80 to 89 miles an hour to come at you. And I was kind of thrown off by the word effusive.
Effusive?
Effusive?
That's okay. Yeah, it's just, a lot of. How about that? Pivo Vazira.
He had a lot to say about him. Why did you say that? I mean, what is this?
I didn't think you were thrown off at all. I thought you handled
Crossword
it
puzzle
beautifully.
stuff or what? What are we doing here?
Big smoke coming out of his ears. Stolen base for Jordan Schaefer. And Simmons pops this one up. Betancourt in foul territory for out number 2. So the question is, and Renicky wasn't ready to answer this question. It was a wait and see answer. But the question becomes, if Figueroa struggles today and he's already given up 5 runs and obviously things aren't going well for him, Marco Estrada is coming back at some point soon. Did Donovan Hand earn, with his start yesterday, another chance to start?
Well, the question is, I mean, how long is it going to take for Donovan to be able to, get into 100 pitches? I mean, I think that might be a concern, given the fact how much the Brewers bullpen is used already. But do you want to try and extend another guy? I mean, Donovan Hand really is a relief pitcher. He did make some starts down in winter ball, but it's always an issue. I mean, do you weaken your bullpen to make a guy a starter, and how long is it going to take him to be able to get up to 100, 110 pitches?
Yeah, that's tough to do in the major leagues. The Brewers have already done that with Figueroa, and because of the stress it puts on your bullpen. So there's a completely different routine from a reliever to a starter. As Hayward pops this one up, it's going to stay playable. Lucroy is there for the out, and the inning ends. Donovan Hand joined us on the air, and some ice down the back, and the culprit, Kyle Loesch. He got him.
Nothing as we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Today's time of the game winner, Hannons and Waukesha. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin. And Miller Lite, notice I picked an easy one for Sunday.
Yeah, just a day of rest on the Tavern of the game. But you picked a good one, though.
Yeah. Good day for a few Miller Lights. About time it's summer.
Ricky Weeks, first ball swinging, and he lines one to left, a base hit. Well, you never know. You get a little bit going, get some runners on base, pop one out of here. That ball Chris Johnson hit out. That is a routine fly ball on most days, but today the ball is really carrying, and it was interesting hearing from Donovan Hand. He's down on the field, and he was telling us that the wind's blowing out as it whips through the ballpark, and it's hot, so you're going to get extra carry anyway. And the ball's really jumping to right field.
Yeah, not that Miller Park needs to help hitters any more than it already does, but today's going to be one of those days. And Mahalem has that thing in his head about facing the Brewers. We talked about his record. An earned run average over 5, 3-11, and has not had a lot of success here at Miller Park.
Betancourt on a hop right to Simmons, and that's going to turn into a 6-3 double play. Hit it hard, but right at Simmons. 2 quick outs. So that wipes out the leadoff single by Weeks.
Hit it hard, 1 hop, but the very talented Simmons out there at shortstop, able to make the play himself. 2 very athletic shortstops in this series. Both very good defensively, but Segura has him beat with the bat.
There's a strike to Jeff Bianchi. It's been a while since Bianchi was in the starting lineup. Bianchi getting the call at third base today. This is his 6th start at third base. Bianchi got a start at short, and he's made 6 starts at second base as well. That one back up the middle and a base hit. So Bianchi, the 2nd hit of the inning, and it's a 2-out single. As we check in with Sophia.
Well, Brian, just want to remind fans for Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you want, and shows and specials that only Fox can bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, coming August 17th, right around the corner, BA.
Looking forward to it. A lot of great stuff in the works on the one. Caleb Gendel getting the call today. Even with a left-handed pitcher on the mound, the Brewers are short-handed with Ryan Braun on the disabled list as far as right-handed outfielders. So the left-handed hitting Schaefer gets the day off, and Caleb Gendel gets his 2nd start in the major leagues.
Day off for Schaefer, struggling a bit with the bat, and give Gendel an opportunity out there in left.
Gendel had a ton of opportunity against left-handed pitching in AAA. 83 at-bats against lefties in the minor leagues this year. He had 241. Did have a home run, had 7 RBIs against lefties. When the Brewers called him up, he was one of the most productive hitters with runners in scoring position in AAA, hitting .375. He's putting together a fine season, and that's what earned him his call up. And he had his first big league hit yesterday off Tim Hudson.
Give you a good at bat. I mean, he's a guy that stays on the baseball, not necessarily looking to pull it. Keeps that front shoulder closed.
Well, Bianchi takes off. McCann doesn't bother. And the Brewers have a couple of stolen bases already. And for Jeff Bianchi, that is his 5th stolen base.
Obviously, the Brewers have something on Mahalam because they are just taking off first move.
Beg your pardon, his 1st stolen base. And the first of his big league career, as a matter of fact. Go if you know you can make it. Down 5-0.
Yeah, there's some type of a key on Mahalam that the Brewers are aware of, and they're not hesitating to take off.
And there's ball 4. So Mahalam very careful with Gendel. That's going to bring Figueroa, the pitcher, to the plate. That leads us to our Carsoup.com email the booth question. Al in South Milwaukee. When do you decide to make a relief pitcher a starter?
Well, in the Brewers case, it's out of necessity with Figueroa and Donovan Hand yesterday. And typically your pitchers, I mean, you can get away with 2 pitches out of the bullpen. Fastball slider, fastball curve, whatever. But if you're a starting pitcher, you need to have at least 3 pitches that you, if you want to have some success, that you feel as though you can throw a strike with. And Donovan Hand showed that yesterday. Sinker, slider, curveball. But the biggest problem that you have bringing a guy out of the bullpen is the fact that he can't go very long in the game. Not used to it.
Now you heard Hand talk about the fatigue in his legs, and as Figueroa, a wild swing down 0-2, and that's basically what we're talking about when you're trying to build up arm strength, leg strength. It's just a different deal when you're a starting pitcher compared to a reliever.
And he was talking about, you know, sitting down, getting up 5 different times. I mean, that's something relievers don't have to deal with.
Figueroa strikes out, and Mahalam puts up another 0. 5-0 Braves. We're headed to the third at Miller Park. With Alfredo Figueroa carving up B.J. Upton in the first inning. Struck him out on 3 pitches. Went up the ladder inside for the strikeout. That was the second K. That looked like Figueroa was going to get out of that inning. Had 2 outs. The bases loaded, but he served one into Brian McCann, and McCann hit one out to the opposite field.
Yeah, fell behind 2-0, and then McCann knew the fastball was coming, and he knocked it out of here. The command of the fastball not very good for Figueroa. You can see a lot of those shots. Lucroy's setting up outside. He's throwing it inside and vice versa. But sometimes you can get away with that when you're throwing in the upper 90s.
So it's 5-0. Atlanta with 2 home runs today. McCann and Chris Johnson. As Freddie Freeman takes a strike. Atlanta's splits when they hit a home run and when they don't are astounding. They are 39-9 when they hit at least 1 home run in a game, and they're just 4-24 when they do not homer. Talk about an all or nothing offense, the Atlanta Braves.
All 5 of their runs have come on a home run.
Knocked down, Segura, throw to first in time, had him perfectly positioned. Freddie Freeman retired.
Well, the defensive alignment for the Brewers has been very good all season long. Garth Orr positions the infielders, and even with a bobble, Segura able to get enough arm behind it and get the out easily. And just as a comparison with the home run statistic, you know, Brewers 22-19 when they homer. I mean, just about 500.
And for the Braves to go 39-9. It's a big part of their offense, and they play in a ballpark that not necessarily a home run park. It can be when it heats up in the summer in Atlanta, but for the most part a pitcher's park. Well, for Figueroa, probably doesn't feel like he's trailing 5-0, but he has made the one bad pitch in the first inning. You see the Charter Cable high-speed pitch. Figueroa at 97, Mahalam topping out at 89.
You know, and the bad pitch came in the first 2, and that at bat to McCann. I mean, when you fall behind 2-0, you know, to a guy like McCann with the bases loaded, you got to come in with a fastball, and that's what he did.
B.J. Upton draws the walk. A 3-1 slider from Figueroa.
Number 16, the catcher, Brian McCann.
And that'll bring up Brian McCann with a man on base. McCann had been 0 for 10 at the plate before that home run in the first inning. And his first home run since June 3rd. You could see the adjustment during the at-bat. McCann got ahead in the count 2-0 and then was late on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Figueroa. Fouled it off. And I'm sure Figueroa and Lucroy, they're saying, wow, he can't turn on a fastball right now. And the next fastball had a couple of extra miles an hour on it, and McCann didn't miss.
And it was a different spot in the over the plate too. I mean, the first fastball 2-0 was in on him, and the fastball that he hit out away from him.
Upton takes off. Lucroy's throw, and his second is a good one. The tag is in time. B.J. Upton caught stealing.
Lucroy continues to throw the baseball well. Threw out a couple of base runners in yesterday's ball game. They're starting to get that throw-out percentage up. And really not even close. B.J. Upton thought he beat it. Let's see.
Well, the tag was high. Segura caught the ball right on the hip of B.J. Upton. So 2 outs, 0-2 the count, and McCann rips one into right field, a base hit. A 2-out single for McCann, and he's 2 for 2. Yeah, got him on the elbow.
He could have gone either way. Brian Gorman on this hot day in Milwaukee rings him up. And they're all in black. I don't blame you, Brian.
Not that had anything to do with it.
It's got to be hot with that stuff out there. Huh?
Taking in all the
black hat, black shirt, gray pants.
Now the umpires do have a light blue version. You know, that's an option for them today.
Right.
How about that black helmet that Manny Gonzalez is wearing behind the plate?
Yeah, right.
Oh, and 2 on Ugla. Ugla is the National League leader in strikeouts. Has 94. He's been playing this series with new contacts, and they were hoping he was going to be able to see the ball a little bit better. He has had a rough season so far. He's hitting just 190 as he pulls that one. That's going to be a base hit down into the corner. And McCann on his way to third base. He'll stop there. So another 2-strike hit for the Atlanta Braves.
That's the third one. And Jordan Schaefer on an 0-2 base hit. He doubled to lead off the game. There's a curveball that was up in the zone, and Ugla out in front of it, but kept it fair. McCann with an 0-2 base hit. You can't make those mistakes. Throw that curveball 0-2, you bounce it in the dirt. Left that one up, and Dan Ugla, although he has struggled quite a bit, able to handle that pitch.
Now the Brewers are going to walk Chris Johnson to load the bases for the pitcher spot coming up next. You know, that's a pitch that Dan Ugla, when he's going well, that's a ball he hits into the seats. But he's been a struggling hitter, and you never know, one hit like that and may get him going once again. Confidence is everything in this game, especially at the plate. That's why that grand slam by McCann was such an important moment. If Figueroa gets through that inning, who knows? Now you've got the wheels spinning. The Braves feel like they can't score.
Yeah.
It all changes, though. So again, the base is loaded for the second time in 3 innings.
And come out to Miller Park as the Brewers host the Chicago Cubs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com.
Now Figueroa against Mahalam. Mahalam has 5 hits this year. one of those a double. And Figueroa falls behind him 2-0. Well, as free and easy as Donovan Hand was yesterday, just the opposite for Figueroa today. He is really grinding on the mound. Got bullpen activity already. Tom Gorzolani. Strike two. And a bouncing ball. Oh, what a play by Bianchi to second for the out. What a great play, Jeff Bianchi. A shortstop by trade, getting to start at third base today and showing outstanding range. And Figueroa avoids a disaster there.
Nothing, but fans could not have asked for a better script or scene yesterday in front of a sold-out crowd here at Miller Park. Francisco Rodriguez with the changeup for the strikeout, good for save number 300. The 25th player to join that club today on our AT&T Twitter poll. He's not the only Brewer to do it. So among the 300 save club, who was your favorite Brewers closer between Trevor Hoffman, Raleigh Fingers, Francisco Cordero, Doug Jones, or of course K-Rod? And after the game, director of the clubhouse, Tony Migliaccio, had the task of authenticating all the goodies, the jersey, the hat, the shoes, the ball. So good souvenir for K-Rod to take home. And fans could tweet us at FS Wisconsin with their thoughts. BA?
All right, thank you, Sophia. That really was a great moment for Francisco Rodriguez. And that 300 save looked like a foregone conclusion at one point in K-Rod's career. As a matter of fact, when he was traded from the Mets to the Brewers in 2011, he had 291 saves at that point. And you just assumed at some point he would get to 300. Well, closers' roles aren't guaranteed. And Axford was continuing a great season in 2011. Francisco Rodriguez had a chance to take over the closer's role last year, and he faltered in that role. Had a poor season last season, and Rock, as you pointed out in the pregame show, he didn't get signed until mid-April. I mean, there was some thought that he might not pitch in the big leagues again, much less close in the big leagues.
Yeah, nothing's guaranteed in this game, and things can turn on you quickly. You know, Frankie Rodriguez, you know, not that he ever had a bad attitude. He was always a good teammate and willing to do the interviews, but he's just a different guy right now, much more outgoing and very appreciative of the opportunity that the Brewers have given him. Now, look, the Brewers are in a position where they needed him. I mean, so they signed him, they brought him up. You know, had things gone well in the bullpen and the starting rotation for Milwaukee, Rodriguez wouldn't be here. So it's worked out well for everybody.
Now, Rodriguez was humbled by the opportunity yesterday. He's had his share of off-field challenges with the Mets and the Brewers. But talking to him before the game, he was very thankful to the Brewers that they gave him a shot. He hopes to continue and keep pitching well, and he's been pitching very well this season. He's only given up runs in one of his outings this year.
There's only one big difference in Rodriguez this year as opposed to last year: throwing strikes. I mean, last year he had a tough time getting ahead in the count, had to come in with a fastball, and he was getting hit and hit hard in a lot of occasions. But this year he's throwing strikes with all of his pitches, getting ahead in the count.
Okay, a little tapper back to Mahalam, and there is out number one. K-Rod with save number 300 yesterday. Symbolic that he not only did it on a changeup, but he got a strikeout living up to his nickname. And he visited with Sophia after the game.
It means a lot. Being in those top 25, top closer in MLB, that's really special for me.
And K-Rod joins Bruce Sutter and Jason Isringhausen on the all-time saves list with those 300 career saves. So he is in the top 25 players, as he mentioned, 25 players to save 300 or more games. Officially 23rd, tied for 23rd all time with those two, and he's hoping to get plenty more chances.
And had that opportunity yesterday because Jim Henderson had thrown 3 days in a row and was not available. It's interesting how Ron Renicky has used that closer's situation this year. It depends upon where the opposition is in the batting order. It seems like at least the last 3 or 4 times. K-Rod in the 8th, Henderson closing, vice versa. It's happened a number of occasions this year. It's nice to have that option.
Well, when you get a named player in there, a guy who is saving games and he is quote unquote your closer, sometimes you get boxed into a corner, and sometimes the save situation is in the 8th inning. If you're facing the middle of the lineup in the 8th inning, that's a much more important inning as opposed to, say, the bottom of the lineup in the 9th inning, and that's why Renicky's been mixing and matching with Henderson and K-Rod at this point. Segura hits a hot one over to third. Johnson up with it, and he makes a play for out number 2. Of course, Renicky and Rodriguez go way back to the Angels days. Ron Renicky was part of the coaching staff with the Angels the year that Anaheim brought up K-Rod from the minor leagues. That was 2002, and that was the year that K-Rod caught the world on fire down the stretch and into the postseason. And the Angels won the World Series that year, defeating the Giants. Frankie set a single season saves record in 08 with the Angels, had 62 in a single season. So I'm sure that meant a lot to Ron Renicky too, to see that milestone yesterday. Two outs for Carlos Gomez. And a tapper over the mound. Ugla will make the play for the out. 1-2-3 inning for Mahalam. So he's working on a 2-hit shutout. His Braves have given him 5 runs thus far. brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic, don't just live, shine. The Polish Bobble on the Polish Day here at the ballpark. Our Shining Stars of the Future presented by Marshfield Clinic. We put Johnny Hellwig back in the spotlight. He was fantastic again last night. 6 innings, no runs. He got the win. Hellwig continues to just impress beyond belief. He has a 1.64 ERA and is 6-0 over his last 7 games. And speaking of the minor leagues, we check in with Sophia with an update on Marco Estrada, who is making a start in Appleton today.
Yes, making his rehab start today. Marco threw 53 pitches, 36 of those were strikes. He went 2 2/3, gave up 8 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk, and threw 5 strikeouts as well. So some mixed news there with Estrada's start in Appleton.
Yeah, it is mixed news indeed. The fact that he's able to get the pitch count up, but the numbers not good. So perhaps Marco Estrada will have another minor league rehab outing. He is there because he pulled a hamstring. Did that pitching against the Oakland Athletics. Estrada's had a lot of trouble with his hamstring, his quads over the years as a Brewer, and certainly something he's trying to fix moving forward. Just been one of those years, Rock, where injuries have come up, and obviously the pitching has been poor. Not lately, but the overall picture of the Brewers pitching has not been good. And the holes in the starting rotation with injuries, certainly losing Ryan Braun will change any lineup. Ball and 2 strikes on Schaefer as he fouls one away.
Hey, remember a few years ago, the Brewers only used 6 starting pitchers the entire season. You have to be lucky to be able to go through a stretch like that. Not many teams can go through a year with just 6.
That was back in 2011. That was the year they won the division in the National League Central. Schaefer rips that one, and that ball's not coming back. Jordan Schaefer is having quite a day. Adds a home run to a double and a single. A 3-hit day for Jordan Schaefer, and he makes it 6-0. And Figueroa is getting roughed up this afternoon.
I'll tell you, for a left-handed batter, he did a nice job tomahawking that fastball. That was up. That was up around the letters. Now, normally left-handers like the ball down and in, but Schaefer able to center on it on a pitch up in the zone and knock it out of here, second deck in right field.
3rd home run Figueroa is allowed today. McCann, Johnson, and now Schaefer. 6 runs on 8 hits.
Yeah, this is the kind of offense that the Brewers had expected throughout this series. Didn't happen in the first 2, but they're swinging the bats today.
Simmons into center field. Gomez going back at the track, leaps, and he makes the catch.
Ouch.
And Gomez is down hard.
Ouch. Well, he jumped up and fell down on the shoulder, right on the wall. That's going to hurt. I thought for a minute it was his head. Snapped his neck back, but well, you knew that was going to be problems when he went out there.
It was an incredible catch by Gomez, who was fearless going up against the walls. And you see head athletic trainer Dan Wright.
I mean, he's walking in. That doesn't look good.
Gomez broke his collarbone a couple of years ago on that side, and this is not good here. Gomez is coming out.
And he got up and started to walk in the dugout, and he knew then that it was not a good sign.
Well, it was a fantastic catch, but it comes with a heavy price.
Right in with the shoulder, then the head snaps up and back, and he's holding on to that left shoulder.
And he got the elbow pinned back as his body and the body weight came down.
Yeah. That's not good. Now, what an effort by Carlos Gomez.
And we're talking about in a 6-0 ball game going at those walls like that.
And that's the thing. I mean, that elbow got caught on the padding on the fence, and body continued to come down, and put a lot of pressure on that shoulder.
So Logan Schaefer is in the game in center field. Brewers don't have many options in the outfield at this point. Ryan Braun already on the disabled list, and this looks bad for Carlos Gomez, and we'll be anxious to get a report from the Brewers clubhouse when it becomes available. If it goes flush against the wall, it'll be no problem, but the awkward landing for Gomez, and that left arm getting pinned back.
And the last thing the Brewers need is another injury.
Yeah, having the kind of season that he's having as well. So we'll wait and hope. One gone for Jason Hayward. And it's 2-1 now. Well, the Brewers are going to have to dig deep today. Already down 6-0. Losing one of your best players. I'm surprised how well that ball traveled off the bat of Simmons. It looked like a routine fly ball when it left the bat, but it's really carrying today.
Sounded like it was down on the end a little bit, but man, we talked about it. The ball's carrying very well today.
And a base hit to right. That's another 2-strike hit given up by Figueroa. And we check in with Sophia.
BA, all fans in attendance today collecting a Polish racing sausage bobblehead, and on Sunday, July 7th, your Brewers take on the Mets at 1:10 p.m. And all fans in attendance will receive a Hank Aaron bobblehead. Compliments of U.S. Cellular. Visit Brewers.com for tickets. And so fans can continue to add to that bobblehead collection. The team giving away 10 in all this season. And obviously, we will give a report on Carlos Gomez as soon as we get a chance.
All right, Sophia, thanks. And Ron Renicky on his way to the mound to make the change. Tough day at the office for Figueroa. Gorzalani will be next. And a chance to remind you that Fox Sports Wisconsin and the Milwaukee Bucks asking you to test your basketball skills. The Bucks Pass Dribble Shoot Challenge at Harley-Davidson Museum. It'll be Saturday, July 20th. Starts at 9 a.m. Challenge is open to boys and girls 7 years of age or older. And for more details, you can visit foxsportswisconsin.com.
Hey, join Baker Tilly in supporting Brewers Community Foundation special Gale Club ticket packages. For the July 9th game include food and beverages and a limited edition framed photo set autographed by Giovanni Gallardo and Jonathan Lucroy. Call 414-902-GAME for tickets.
Alfredo Figueroa left alone with his thoughts, and on a day when he knew a potential starting rotation spot could be available for him, he comes out and struggles. 9 hits, 6 runs, all earned, and has allowed the 6 runs and 3 walks today, 3 home runs to the Atlanta Braves. He'll turn it over to Tom Gorzolani, and here's another guy who is up for consideration to join the starting rotation.
Last pitched on Tuesday against the Astros, got roughed up a little bit. 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs. And that included a grand slam home run to Matt Dominguez. A 29th appearance for Gorzolani. He's made his start and a .279 earned run average. Question is, how long will he go today? Brewers with a day off. That's the good news tomorrow.
So we'll reset it here. Jason Hayward at first base. A 1-out single. Now Freeman at the plate. Carlos Gomez making a great catch up against the wall, but injures his left shoulder, and he is out of the game in the clubhouse, being tended to right now.
Interesting to watch Figueroa today in that I don't think I remember a slider. I don't think he threw too many sliders. There was more curveballs than fastballs today. And he didn't throw many of those in his first, few starts. But that was a pitch he really struggled with his last time out against the Astros.
Freeman hits that one hard to right. Aoki makes a play for out number 2.
So Figueroa continues to try and figure out what kind of breaking pitch he wants to throw.
Well, last week Chris Narveson was taken off the major league roster. His minor league rehab assignments did not go well. He made 5 rehab appearances. He was a candidate to come back in the rotation. Brewers pulled the plug on that one. Marco Estrada made his first rehab start today. It did not go well in the Midwest League. They got up to a high pitch count, but not what the Brewers were hoping for. Gives up 6 earned runs. Gorzolani's made a spot start. He did well in that venture a couple of Saturdays ago. And Donovan Hand yesterday was very impressive. And then you got a couple of guys in the minor leagues that are lighting it up right now.
And we talked about one today, Johnny Helwig. He could be an option. Question is whether the Brewers feel as though he's ready.
Helwig has won 6 of his last 7 starts. Got Jimmy Nelson pitching well in AAA as well. So there are options, but I mean there are bodies, but it's a process that you start to think about. Well, who's going to fit where, and then you start looking at with the young guys, the prospects. Innings pitched. Runner takes off. Upton fouls it back. Keeping the running game present in a 6-0 game and a team that doesn't run that much.
6-0 is not a very big lead these days. I mean, these things, 6-0 leads evaporate quickly. I think it's a little bit too early to call off the dogs. You got to play your game at this point. Too early in the game. Now back 20 years ago, it might be different.
2-2 now to B.J. Upton. Got him. Gorzolani strikes him out. The inning is over. Braves add a run to it. Schaefer homers, and it's 6-0. bullpen catcher, and today you can join Marcus and his wife Jill for the annual Coos for Kids fundraiser. This year the Handles and Coos for Kids will be held at the Milwaukee County Zoo. It's after the game from 4 to 7:30. Brewers players, coaches, the famous racing sausages, they'll all make appearances during the event. Coos for Kids raises money to enhance the quality of life for terminally ill and disadvantaged children. Admission is $25. Kids under 3 are free. Just go to coosforkids.com to learn more, but head on over to the zoo today after the game.
The thing has grown quite a bit. First year they did that, 150 people. They're expecting almost 600 today.
That's a great cause, and they do a great job, Marcus and Jill. We've been a part of it for many years, and congratulations to the work they've done in the community. As Lucroy singles to right. There's a good start. Brewers need to get something going here as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning, down 6-0.
You know, that event is very well attended by the Brewers players and coaches. A lot of the big name guys are going to be showing up to that. And it tells you, it gives you a sense of what the Brewers organization thinks of Marcus Hamill. And Luke were able to wait back on a changeup from Mahalam and dump it into right field.
By the way, speaking of events, we want to give a plug for our buddy Dave Nelson. His golf event is tomorrow, and that's going to raise a ton of money for his charity, and you can participate in that. Just go to brewers.com/Davey. You can find out more. Fantastic cause in South Africa, and we'll have a full recap on Tuesday when we get back on the air prior to the Cubs series. But we wish Davey the best of luck. He's got some big names coming in.
That's up at Whistling Straits, right?
Yeah, the Irish course.
Right.
But still plenty of ways to contribute and be a part of it. Just check out brewers.com. I heard from Jeff Cirillo he's going to be playing in that tournament. Said he was going to be at the ballpark, but either they have prevented him from coming to the press box, he might be banned, or we haven't seen him. Ricky Weeks lines it to third. Johnson right there.
You know, Rillo lives in Seattle, and he was wondering if you wanted to play golf with him when the team goes to play the Mariners.
Saw that. That's a little bit down the road. It's in August.
Well, he's looking ahead.
That's not like Cirillo, though. It makes you wonder.
He knew not to ask me.
A former golfer, Bill Schroeder.
All done. That's it. I've had enough.
What's your latest hobby now, Rock?
I don't do much of anything these days.
Just sit around, play dominoes. Betancourt in the air, left field. Schaefer on the track. We're out number 2.
You know what I like to do? I like to go to baseball games. That's my hobby.
Yeah.
Hang out at the ballpark.
It's always fun. Don't even have to pay to do it. Don't even have to pay to do it these days.
You go to the ballpark, you know, talk about the game, read promos,
Memorize promos. You're good with the bow.
little
bow
archery.
hunter.
Yeah.
You don't hunt anything. You just, after the craze of the Hunger Games, it inspired you, right?
No. I started with that early. Before that. Yeah, that Hunger Games movie got archery in the forefront.
Yeah, inspired many a teenage girl to want to learn how to,
including yours,
use a bow and arrow, including mine. Last year's Olympics, archery, one of the most viewed sports.
Right.
Thanks to that movie.
That's a lot of fun. You should try it out.
I'm all in.
Very relaxing, unlike golf.
Well, golf can be relaxing. Unless you care about what your score is and how many golf balls you lose. Jeff Bianchi got a single his last time up, stole his first career base. That one's down the right field line. That is going to get down a base hit. Hayward makes a nice play on a hop. And that's going to keep Lucroy at second base. So Bianchi is 2 for 2.
Hayward really shading that line quite a bit. I mean, that was a ball down the line that you would think that perhaps Bianchi might be able to get into second base. A little sinker off the outside corner, and it didn't take Hayward long to get there. Those big long strides. He was shading over there a little bit. Covers a lot of ground in a very short period of time.
Looks like a beach ball got loose in the outfield. See, that's what the baseball looks like to a lot of good hitters. We got people for that, BJ. They're coming. Caleb Gendel. Well, you never know on a day like this when the ball's flying.
Right.
Get a hold of one here, it turns it into a ball game again. 2 outs, 2 on.
6 runs, not a lot, on a day like today. Although 6 runs for the Braves, more runs than both teams were able to score in the first 2 games of this series.
Thought it was going to be easier than that, didn't he? At least it didn't fall down.
Right. Ty Cobb's spikes would have gone through that pretty easy.
No problem.
File them down, make a point on them.
Gendel back up the middle. Simmons is right there, and that will retire the side. So the Brewers fail to score. They strand a pair. Still 6-0.
Top of the 5th, football season is right around the corner, and which Packers players are the most crucial to the team's success? Paul Eyman continues his daily countdown of the 25 most important players on Green Bay's current roster. Check them out each day at foxsportswisconsin.com. Today we are at number 17. That'd be cornerback Sam Shields. Yay.
All right, Sophia, thanks. On our way to the 5th inning here at Miller Park on a steamy afternoon here. Well, the Brewers will welcome in the Cubs beginning Tuesday, taking an off day tomorrow. Edwin Jackson against Kyle Loesch will get the series started. Tuesday night, 6:30 airtime. The first 2 games were on the air at 6:30 for Brewers Live, and then Thursday is a matinee with Matt Garza and Willie Peralta. A couple of hard throwers in the shadows. That'll be a good one. Dale Swaim's Cubs coming to town beginning Tuesday.
Cubs been throwing it much better lately. especially that starting rotation. Feldman's been good.
Well, the Brewers winning yesterday and breaking from that tie with the Cubs for the last spot in the division as McCann flies out for the first out of the fifth. Yesterday was a great day for the Milwaukee Brewers and a rare day this year. Brewers shut out the Braves. Back-to-back shutouts for Milwaukee. Every other team in the division lost. Brewers are 31-42 to start play today. The two best records in baseball, in all of baseball, reside in the National League Central. The Cardinals have the best record in baseball at 47-28. They lost to the Rangers yesterday. And how about the Pittsburgh Pirates? Second best record in all of baseball at 45-30.
And doing a lot of their damage at home. 25-13 to the Pirates. Pretty good chance that two wild card teams might come out of the Central. That would be something.
Cincinnati has lost 3 in a row. Pirates have overtaken the Reds in that division. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves still lead their division despite losing 3 straight and dropping 5 of their last 6. The Braves won 2 out of 3 from the Giants last weekend at home and then dropped 3 of 4 from the Mets. But at 10 games over, they have a 5-game lead over the Nationals. Nationals at an even 500. Everybody else in that division under 500 as Uggla strikes out again. 2 outs in the inning.
Got to believe the Nationals are going to make a run at it at some point. I mean, that's a pretty talented ball club. 2-seam fastball for Gorzolani. It doesn't throw very hard, but Uggla swings right through it. Bryce Harper back in the lineup this week, and that's really going to help them.
I saw a note today that Jason Worth had to leave today's game with an injury. Had a leg injury for the Washington Nationals. And the Nationals are expected to place Dan Herron on the disabled list. So just as they get their star player Bryce Harper back Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, they're saying they may be losing a couple of others. Herron's been the weak link in that starting rotation. Strasburg's pitching well. The record doesn't show for it, but he's got a good ERA. And the Wisconsin native Jordan Zimmerman having a terrific year. Tell you what, Jordan Zimmerman is starting to look like an ace.
Yeah.
One of the elite pitchers in the game at this point.
And we saw him last year and looked good.
I don't think anybody would have guessed that the National League East was going to be the worst division in baseball at this point. A lot could change, but the only team over 500 is Atlanta. Go figure. That will come up. A little shake up of the Braves dugout. Yikes. Somebody wore that one, I believe. Is that Freddie Freeman in there?
Everybody's sitting up on the back of the bench trying to stay out of the sun. You don't see too many players leaning up on that railing in that sun. Brewers dugout in the shade. That's hot in that dugout along the third baseline.
Johnson with a base hit. That was a good at bat by Chris Johnson, who has already homered today and walked, and now he singles.
First hit allowed by Gorzolani.
John Steinmiller tweeted a picture today. Brewers Media Relations Department. Hydrate. It's a hot and humid day. Did you hydrate today?
I've got some water up here. He's got water.
He's following his own lead. The outstanding John Steinmiller. He's got his hands full today. I saw Tom Haudricourt is back in the press box today. Brewers beat writers, been down with a foot injury, foot surgery. If there was a DL for writers, he'd be on it. But I guess today is more like a rehab start for him.
Yeah, he's not going to be making any road trips anytime soon.
Haudricourt has a driver. He's got a young kid named Max Elias who is escorting him around, you know, making sure he's kind of like driving Miss Daisy, because he can't drive. It's his right foot. So Miss Daisy has a driver. There's a swing and a miss. Mahalam strikes out. Former teammates Gorzolani and Mahalam. See Carlos Gomez with 12. He had to leave this game earlier with a shoulder injury, it looked like. Still awaiting official word from the Brewers clubhouse. Gene Segura with 11. Hit one here on Friday night, and it was a big one. It was 1-0 at the time. Segura comes up, launched one over the fence down the left field line. Showing great power, great speed, great defense, and becoming quite the impact player in the major leagues. And on a day when Ryan Braun is still on the disabled list, the Brewers lose their center fielder Gomez. As Gorzolani gets an at bat, and he responds with a base hit off his buddy. Those two were rotation mates with the Pirates. Gorzolani with a base hit. That's his first of the year and just his second plate appearance.
Yeah, 2/3 of those three left-handers that the Pirates had come up all about the same time. Zach Duke, Paul Mahalam, and Gorzolani was supposed to be the future of that Pirates rotation. It didn't work out, but Gorzolani bragging rights, at least for now, with Paul Mahalam.
Well, we get back to the top of the order. Let's see if the Brewers can make some noise here. Third time through the order as Aoki takes a strike. Looked like Paul Mahalam was asking Tom Gorzolani if he wanted the baseball in jest. Bouncer to first. Freeman to second for one. Nobody home. And Aoki will reach. Just as well erasing Gorzolani from the Bates pass. Look at Mahalam saying, hey, you want this? Maybe your last one. No, I'm good. Nice. Great camera work.
I'm not allowed to act like I'm having fun. We're down 6-0. take the baseball and go to work. I don't think Mulholland would have been doing that had he been down 6-0.
All right, here's Segura now. Gene has hit the ball hard twice, but he's 0 for 2. The ball he hit in the first inning looked like it had a triple written on it, but Jason Hayward was flying toward the line, made a great catch, a backhanded catch, taking the extra base hit away from Segura.
Yeah, those long strides. He covers a lot of ground very quickly. Done that a couple of times today.
Two balls and a strike on Segura. He checked in third in the league in batting to start play today. Segura hitting .332 updated. Started the series pitting two of the top young shortstops in the National League. Both excellent defenders. Segura much more impressive offensively than Simmons. Segura got jammed a little bit. Schaefer on the run. He lays out. Can't get it. Aoki on his way to third. Into second goes Segura. And the Brewers finally have something cooking here. Second and third with one away. That'll be a double for Segura.
They got it down on the end of the bat just a little bit, but put it in a pretty good spot. Two-seam fastball. Segura didn't hit it all that well, but he found the gap. Schaefer tried to make a diving catch, and that's what allowed Segura to get to second and Aoki into third base. Now not a long ball. How about that?
Well, if it comes here, it would be a major league first, as Logan Schaefer will bat his first plate appearance, coming in for the injured Gomez. Schaefer's been playing a lot lately, and Renicky just wanted to give him a day off, but with Gomez's injury, Schaefer's the last true outfielder available. Second and third, one away. Schaefer trying to bunt his way on, and it's quickly 0-2.
And trying to bunt it towards second base, get it by the pitcher, and it's a base hit.
Might give you an idea of how he feels about his swing right now.
And then the fact that Gorslani's tough on lefties. He's been tough on lefties all year. I should say Mulholland.
Here's the 0-2. He sidearms it, misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, you never know. It just takes one. Get a hit, get this crowd going a little bit. A sellout crowd that has been quieted by the Braves' attack today. 2-2. Mulholland's had some traffic on the bases today. He's had just one clean inning. That was the third. Good speed on the bags in Aoki and Segura. And the 2-2, and it's pulled foul. Schaefer, a one-handed swing, fouls it away.
Yeah, something you don't see him do all that often is try and hook a ball in the outer half of the plate. Schaefer's so good at driving it into left field.
Looks like he's a little jumpy at the plate. See if he can get a mistake. The 2-2 and a fastball missed. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And now Mahalam going to be forced to throw him a strike. He certainly does not want to face Lucroy with the bases loaded. One gone, full count. And Schaefer back up the middle, base hit, and this will bring it a pair. Logan Schaefer with a 2 RBI single, and the Brewers are on the board. It's 6-2 Atlanta.
And nice at bat by Logan Schaefer. He took a very close pitch on a 2-2 count, didn't miss by much, and then Mahalam had to come in with a fastball. This one right down the middle. And there's a better approach. Remember, he tried to hook that breaking pitch a couple of pitches before, but stayed on that one and drove it right back into center field.
So Schaefer with a big hit in the 5th, and now Lucroy comes up. Still just 1 out. 6-2 Atlanta. Three hits in the inning. And still just 1 out. Lucroy singled his last time up. Flared one into center field. He's 1 for 2. Bouncing ball to third, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brewers decked out in their special jerseys today, their Sunday specials. Celebrating Polish heritage. Piwowarzy, which means brewers in Polish. Maybe they've got a little luck in them. Just took them a few innings to figure out what the red was all about today. The Polish flag. Gave away the Polish racing sausage bobbleheads today.
My money's on him today.
Yes. Three balls, 1 strike. So Lucroy has put himself in a hitter's count.
Look for a pitch middle in, try and knock one down the line or get one out of here.
Lucroy, center field. That ball's well hit. And Jonathan Lucroy has hit one out. 2-run home run. And it is a ball game again. 6-4 Atlanta as the Brewers have put 4 on the board in the 5th. Number 8 for Lucroy.
He did. He put a nice swing on it. Didn't try and pull it. That's what makes Lucroy so good. Let it get to him. He knew that he had the count in his favor. He could be very patient. Look for a perfect pitch. He got it and rode it on out of here about halfway up that batter's eye in center field. Well, all of a sudden the Brewers right back in it.
That was a bomb by Lucroy. The ball traveling well. Bernie down the slide. And the Brewers within a pair. Still just 1 out. Lucroy with home run number 8, RBIs number 39 and 40. He is the club leader in that category.
And this inning started by a Tom Gorzolani base hit. You never know where a rally is going to start.
What a run Jonathan Lucroy is on at the plate. After a very sluggish start to the season offensively, he has found it once again as Weeks. A big swing and a miss.
Seems like you get that baseball up in the wind today and you have a pretty good shot. Everything's carrying well. Even baseballs that aren't hit well. Lucroy centered on that one.
A lot of baseball to be played. That's 8 hits now for Milwaukee. 4 runs on the board. Lucroy has 2 of those hits. Ricky Weeks had a sharply hit single back in the second. He's 1 out of 2. He lined out his last time up. Brewers fell behind 6-0 here at Miller Park, but they have stormed back with 4 in the 5th. And now within a pair as Weeks strikes out number 2.
Paul Mahallam straightened him up on the first pitch with a fastball, and then a steady diet of off speed, finally getting him on a slider down and in.
So 2 outs, 3rd strikeout for Mahallam. And here is Betancourt. Uni is 0 for 2. Bounced into a double play in the second, and then he flew out to left in the 4th. And he's down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Inning started with a single by the pitcher Gorzalani, who's gone an inning and 2/3 scoreless. A slow breaking ball. Mahallam 65 miles an hour with that pitch. He just missed.
Yeah, didn't miss it by much. That was a nice pitch on the outside corner.
Two and a bouncing ball to short. Simmons will make the play for the out. Inning over, but the Brewers on Polish Heritage Day finally having some fun. Gorzalani with a single, Segura doubles. Big hit by Schaefer to drive in a pair, and then Lucroy goes downtown. Answering a 4-run first inning by Atlanta with a 4-run bottom of the 5th. And it has tightened up here at Miller Park. Jonathan Lucroy with a 2-run home run. He and Schaefer driving in 2 runs apiece. Schaefer entering the game for Carlos Gomez, who left this game with an injury. It looked like a shoulder injury, crashing into the wall. Still awaiting an update from the Brewers clubhouse on that injury. Meanwhile, Tom Gorzolani has an inning and 2/3 scoreless, trying to keep the Braves down here in the 6th. Anytime you get a big inning, you want to shut the opposition down the next frame.
And he's got the top of the order to deal with.
Jordan Schaefer has been the star offensively for the Braves. While McCann has the grand slam, Schaefer has set the table. He's had a double, an infield hit, a stolen base, and he homered in the 4th. Hits that ball well down the left field line. Gendel can't get there.
It looked as though he was going to be able to make the catch. Maybe misjudged it a bit. It had a little bit of a slice to it. Schaefer didn't hit it all that well. And Gendel not able to get there, but he was able to scoop it. That ball gets by him. That's trouble. That's probably a triple.
Well, Schaefer with his 4th hit of the game. And here is Andrelton Simmons now, who's 1 out of 3. Simmons hit the fly ball to deep center. Gomez made that great catch and ended up in the clubhouse with an injury.
See if the Braves stay aggressive and try and steal a base. Not a very big lead over there for a guy that steals bases. Schaefer.
Well, Simmons at the plate in the 4th inning. Ball that kept carrying, and Gomez very awkward landing. And that left shoulder got tied up as he hit the ground, and there was never any doubt that he was coming out. It is a bad looking fall for Carlos Gomez. Hope the best for him.
Yeah. Now in the meantime, Gorzolani has got to shut the door on the Braves in this inning. Brewers right back in it. Be demoralizing to give up a couple of runs.
Gorzolani's given up just 1, or rather 2 hits now on 3 strikeouts thus far. Brandon Kensler begins to get loose in the Brewers bullpen. Two balls and a strike. Bouncing ball up the middle, base hit. So here come the Braves with 2 on to start this inning.
Gorzolani up to 33 pitches now, and you wonder how long Ron Rennie's going to go with him, although he's got a couple of left-handers coming up. And Freddie Gonzalez has the lineup pretty well spread out left and right, making it tough at least at the top of the order.
Hayward and Freeman, the 2 lefties back to back. So a big spot here. The Brewers get 4. Now the Braves put up a threat right away. And Hayward into center field. Back is Schaefer at the track with room to make the play. Both runners will tag. Throw comes into second, and both will advance. But Hayward retired for the first out of the inning.
And 2 of the fastest Braves on the bases right now.
Well, now second and third with Freeman coming up, their best hitter with runners in scoring position. Brewers are going to bring their infield in. First pitch swinging, a breaking ball from Gorzelani, and Freeman out in front. Freeman is hitless today. He did walk ahead of the grand slam by McCann in the first inning. He hit one sharply his last time up. He lined out to right. 0-2 the count. I think that one caught a little bit more of the plate than Gorzelani wanted.
Yeah, Freeman's had 2 pretty good pitches to hit, and he's been underneath both of them. Just a little bit off with the timing.
Very fast runners aboard. Schaefer at third for Atlanta. Simmons at second. Infield end. No balls, 2 strikes. He doesn't bite on the breaking ball. It's 1-2. Gorzelani could use a strikeout here. Freeman fights it off. Pitch count is up there for Gorzelani. This will be number 39 for him. And he got him. Back to the breaking ball, and Freddie Freeman strikes out. Out number 2. That's a big one for Gorzelani.
Man, Freeman has been very good against lefties this year, hitting almost 300, but having a rough time in this series, and Gorzelani gets him on a pitch out of the strike zone and just kind of waves at it.
So a way out of the inning for Gorzelani. Got to be careful with his first pitch. As Lucroy calls timeout, Ron Renicky took a step out of the dugout.
I think he wants to end this inning right now. You bring the right-hander in. Either that, and want to have a discussion regarding what do they want to do with B.J. Upton. You got McCann on deck. Remember what happened with McCann last time the bases were loaded and he was up. Of course, it was a right-hander up on the mound from Milwaukee. A little bit of a strategy session. This discussion goes somewhat like, do you want me to just put him on? Are you going to be able to pitch carefully to him and go after Brian McCann? You can have those discussions with veteran pitchers like Gorzelani. They can work their way around the confines of the plate. Maybe try to get a hitter like B.J. Upton to chase, which he will do.
So Gorzelani will stay. B.J. Upton with 2 outs. Big spot here for the Brewers. And Upton swinging away. Looked like a changeup from Gorzelani. Brandon Kinsler available. One of the things about this matchup here, B.J. Upton against left-handed pitching, hitting just 179. Now his overall batting average is 176. So
he's having a tough time against everybody, basically.
Left, middle, and right.
But I mean, the fact that Gorzelani's out there really doesn't have much to do with the decision for Renicky. Dead even.
Make him hit your pitch was probably the message on some level. And so far, Upton has gotten himself in an 0-2 count. And Gorzelani, a fastball, just missed.
How do you take that? And that was a good pitch right on the outside corner. Lucroy having a chat with him.
Manny Gonzalez, the home plate umpire.
That's a big pitch.
Upton wasn't ready for the heat. That was a good fastball as well, 93 miles an hour. So that's in his mind. See what he gives him here. The 1-2. Nice block by Lucroy. Saves a run. 2-2 now.
And fastball in the outside corner, came back with a changeup. He's given him just about everything in this at bat.
You can almost see Gorzelani going through the mental Rolodex about this at bat here.
Don't give him anything to pull.
Has the one he wants. 2-2, and a breaking ball pulled foul. Good slider down. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. This has a chance to be a key moment in this game. The Brewers come back with 4 runs in the 5th, turn it into a game. This crowd ready to roar. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. Gorzelani deals, and a bouncing ball to short. Segura winds it up, got him. Gorzelani works out of a jam. 2 on reach to start the inning, and the Braves come up empty. On Sundays, the tradition is the sausages hand off to the little weenies. Polish was in the lead around the turn, but a little confusion on the handoff.
Well, sometimes the little guys don't know which direction to go.
It's a runaway with the Brock. All good fun between innings. As we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, there you see the updated standings. Add 1 to the Brock today. Well, Paul Mahalam is out for Atlanta. 5 innings, 4 earned runs. And Freddie Gonzalez is going to go to his bullpen now. He's got Jeff Bianchi leading off the Brewers, followed by Gendel, and then the pitcher spot is Luis Avilan is on the pitch.
We had great numbers. This is the best bullpen in the National League, this Atlanta Braves squad. 36th appearance, a 2-0 record, and a 184 earned run average. Has not allowed a long ball this year.
It is a race to the 9th against the Atlanta Braves. They have one of the great shutdown closers in baseball in Craig Kimbrell.
And the Atlanta bullpen, a 15-5 record and a 282 earned run average. I mean, these guys are dynamite.
They had 2 big losses in their bullpen. Johnny Venters and Eric O'Flaherty both out with Tommy John surgery. Those were the 2 that got it to Kimbrell, but they've been able to replace him. Strike on the corner.
Top 3 bullpens in the National League statistically: Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and then the Brewers. Brewers bullpen posting a 3.05 earned run average.
So Jordan Walden is setting up for them. We saw Alex Wood the last couple of games. He was pitching in games when the Brewers have been trailing. He looks as filthy as anyone. The left-hander coming out of the bullpen, probably not available today. But the starter Mahalam gives Atlanta just 5 innings. As Bianchi into shallow left field, Schaefer broke back, now coming in, and he makes the catch for the out. He got a late break on the baseball, but able to recover to haul it in for out number 1.
Up off the end of the bat, and it kind of froze Schaefer for just a second, but we've already been talking about how fast he is, able to close ground and make the catch.
Got it right before it hit the ground. So the first out, and here is Caleb Gendel.
Tell you that Jordan Schaefer, a completely different player than from the guy we saw in Houston.
Yeah, the Braves had hoped he'd be this kind of player. He came up with Atlanta. They traded him to the Astros in the Michael Bourne deal. Astros gave up on him, essentially taking him off their roster, which made him available. The Braves reacquired him. It's Gendel out to short, and Simmons for the second out. Take you back to the final out for Gorzelani against B.J. Upton.
Well, you thought with McCann on deck that the Brewers were going to be careful with B.J. Upton, but Gorzelani goes right after him. He gets ahead in the count 0-2, and then he tries to sneak a fastball in the outside corner. Where's that miss? A 1-2 count, then a couple of breaking pitches. Upton fouls one off, and then a fastball, keeps it down and gets the ground ball. 6-pitch out for Tom Gorzelani, and the Brewers remain down by only a couple.
It was a big out. Gorzelani is done for the day, goes 2 2/3 innings. He also had a base hit in this game. He started the rally for the Brewers last inning. Will be lifted for a pinch hitter here, and Martin Maldonado.
And Maldonado, one of 2 right-handers on the bench. Ramirez the other. Ron Renneke really doesn't want to use him. And then you've got Francisco and Jeanette, a couple of left-handed batters. So Ron Renneke shaking a dice here, using his only other catcher. Could very well keep him in the game, though. Slide him over to first base. You don't know. I hate to burn your only other catcher in the 6th inning.
And you're another right-handed bat. Kimbrel is a power right-handed hitter, so you save the lefties for late. With some lefties that Freddie Gonzalez can use to counter.
Most managers would not send their other catcher up in a pinch hitting opportunity like this. Ron Renneke has no problem with it.
And especially as early as the 6th inning. And you wonder if Ron's just taking a flyer that Wood would not be used today. You know, Wood has pitched the last 2 games. He's the only other lefty other than Avilan. That's how things have changed when you try to match up against the Braves bullpen. When Venters was at his best and healthy, and O'Flaherty was at his best, that was the 7th and the 8th. And you tried to stack as many right-handed pinch hitters as you could when you're in those setup situations, and take your chances with Kimbrel. That is a called strike 3, and Avilan makes quick work of the Brewers in the 6th, a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout. 6-4 Atlanta. We go to the 7th. Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Blue skies up above. Beautiful Sunday in Milwaukee. As we check in with Sophia, an injury update on Carlos Gomez. What do you have, Sophia?
Well, BA, Carlos Gomez left the game in the fourth, and the word out of the clubhouse is that it was a left shoulder sprain. They are saying he is day-to-day. We take a look at what happened. A great leaping catch, but an unfortunate ending. And again, the news on that, it is a left shoulder sprain. He is listed as day-to-day, so I guess the good news there, it appears he will not have any time on the DL.
Well, that is good to hear. And, of course, the day off tomorrow for the Brewers will certainly help that injury to Gomez.
Yeah, Brewers offense just cannot afford to have Gomez out of the lineup very, very long, that's for sure. With everybody else that's hurt right now. Well, Brandon Kinsler on for the 30th time this year. Earned run average a little bit over 4. A 2-0 record for Brandon. And Kinsler last pitched on Tuesday against the Astros. He retired the only 2 batters that he faced.
No, very little room for error for the bullpen the rest of the way. Figueroa giving up 6 runs, all earned to the Braves. Gorzolani was fantastic in 2 2/3 innings. And now Kinsler tries to carry the baton. Brewers scored 4 in the 5th to get within 2. And McCann is drilled by a pitch. So Kinsler hits Brian McCann to start the 7th inning.
I'm not sure where that pitch was supposed to be going. Wow, that did not even close.
McCann had the big hit early, had a grand slam for Atlanta in the 1st inning. He's aboard for Dan Uggla now. Uggla with a double today, but has 2 strikeouts as well, adding to his league leading total. Brewers have a shift on with Uggla at the plate, with 3 infielders on the left side, which can create a very awkward double play opportunity.
Yeah, nobody really on the right side because you got Betancourt holding the runner. I mean, so he's basically has no range whatsoever, and that's about as dramatic as a shift you're going to see on any hitter.
Uggla takes a ball inside. Uggla's double that came back in the 3rd inning was a ground ball that he pulled down the line at 3rd. A ground ball to 3rd base to Bianchi would mean a strange throw for Bianchi as Weeks is coming across. Normally you see the second baseman coming at you from the 3rd base perspective. This time he'd be essentially leading a receiver across the middle.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You got to wait for a bit, because that's an odd throw and an odd, catch for Ricky Weeks.
Brewers would love that chance. 2-2 the count on Uggla. And that just missed. Not by much. Full count. Gorzolani worked out of a jam with 2 on and nobody out last inning. Braves have their leadoff runner aboard here. 3-2 pitch, and it's lined into left field. It is hooking, and it is foul. Not by much.
Yeah, that's the last place you want to leave a pitch to Dan Uggla. We saw that already. His double today back in the 3rd inning, a hanging breaking pitch. Boy, that one didn't miss by much, maybe an inch. That's where he wants it, anything middle in. And that's why you see the Brewers putting the shift on that they are.
Another 3-2 pitch coming from Kinsler. Uggla very similar to Ricky Weeks. Two great power hitting second basemen, both signing big contracts. Uggla got a 5-year deal from Atlanta. 5 years and $62 million takes him through the 2015 season. And both have had to deal with a lot of scrutiny lately with their struggles offensively. Uggla's had some big years at the plate. He played for Freddie Gonzalez in Florida. Rejoined him here in Atlanta. He's got 2 years left on his contract.
He's always been a big power hitter, power hitting second baseman, and well, he never has had the big batting average. A strikeout guy. He's going to strike out 100 times. But you know that going in.
Another 3-2. And Uggla fouls it in and out of the mid of Lucroy. Stays alive. Uggla had 5 straight years of 30 or more home runs from the second base position. He's been an all-star 3 times. And here he is hitting in the bottom third of the order for the Atlanta Braves. One of the highest paid position players they have. Got him. Kinsler wins the battle. A long at bat against Dan Uggla, and he strikes him out. Third strikeout for Uggla. And the first out of the inning for Kinsler.
Now the breaking ball, you put it on the outer half of the plate, and Uggla really has no chance on it. That's a nice pitch. Now the slider from Kinsler, he hung a couple of them, and Uggla only fouled him off. The big swing pulls off and gets the strikeout.
And a 10-pitch at bat for Kinsler against Uggla. So one gone. Here is Chris Johnson now, who homered in the second inning. Strike one. Johnson came with Justin Upton from the Diamondbacks, another former Astro. He got off to a great start this year at the plate.
Still able to keep the average up, just like Jordan Schaefer. Never been a big batting average guy. You know, Johnson with big power, but hitting .322. Something about the water in Atlanta.
At least the early season water. Because the way Chris Johnson and Justin Upton started the season, the first month of the year, Johnson was the National League leader in batting average for a good part of the first month. Kevin Towers was having to answer a lot of questions in Arizona about why he traded those two away. They got Martin Prado in return. The Cincinnati Reds were involved in that deal as well. It was a 3-team trade. Diamondbacks remain in first place, however. So the Diamondbacks have withstood the early criticism, and I think when it's all said and done, Martin Prado is going to be a big part of what they do. How about that start?
Yep.
.369 average in April. Cooled back to normal in May, and then a little below his career numbers in the month of June. That home run came earlier in this game. Popped him up. Logan Schaefer coming in. He wants it. And there is out number 2 for Kinsler. And that's going to bring the pitcher spot up. Freddie Gonzalez will go with Reed Johnson off the bench. Braves are playing shorthanded today. Justin Upton is not available. He's got a hand injury. But no roster move for Atlanta, so Gonzalez's bench is one man short.
Seems like every organization is testing their minor league system quite a bit early in the year. A lot of injuries. It's been that way for a couple of years now.
Reed Johnson falling behind. You saw Anthony Varvaro, the right-hander, getting loose. Braves have a great minor league system. They've produced a ton of talent these last few years. Pitching rich organization as Johnson lines one to left. Gindel is right there. And Brandon Kinsler holds serve for the Brewers, puts up another 0. 7th inning stretch. Time to turn it over to Rob Edwards. Miller Park's presentation of God Bless America.
And all of Major League Baseball as we honor our great nation with the singing of God Bless America. Led this afternoon by Jamie Dewicki of New Berlin.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
And yesterday was a day of milestones. Donovan Hand made his first career start. Caleb Gindel got his first career hit. And the capper, Francisco Rodriguez, the 25th player to join the 300 save club. And he's not the only Brewer in the club. So we check out the results of our AT&T Twitter poll asking fans among the 300 save club, who was your favorite Brewers closer? No surprise, fan favorite Raleigh Fingers, 48% of the vote, and appropriate because he was the first to do so in 1982. Earlier in the game, we updated you on Marco Estrada's rehab start, and Hiram Burgos tossed a scoreless first with 22 pitches, gave up just an infield single. The Nashville Sounds are now suspended in a rain delay, so we'll get numbers on that hopefully later in the game, BA.
Perhaps watching us right now. Say hello to all of the Nashville Sounds. Raleigh Fingers in the Hall of Fame. Trevor Hoffman is certainly headed there. Talking about those saves. Aoki breaks his bat. Simmons, that strong arm, guns him down. One pitch, one out. New pitcher for the Braves is Anthony Varvaro.
And this guy's a real deal. He's got a good fastball and overhand curveball. He started with the Mariners, and he's been with the Braves parts of the last 3 seasons. And he has been very good at .313 earned run average. He's given up a couple of home runs.
Paul Janisch has come in to play third base. Braves just promoted him from AAA. Gwinnett. prior to this series beginning. Had to put Ramiro Pena on the disabled list with a shoulder injury. So Giannis, a superb defender, and a shortstop by trade at third base now. Segura takes a strike. Brewers need a base runner and then go from there as they trail by 2 as we head to the 7th. A 4-run 5th inning put the Brewers back into this game. They trailed 6-0 at one point. Segura with a base hit to right. Oh, incredible plate coverage by Segura. And it was yesterday, Rock, that you talked about a Ryan Braun-like plate coverage for Gene Segura, and that's saying something.
Yes, it is. You don't make that comparison too often. We talked about that in yesterday's ball game. The way that kid can cover home plate both in and out. You can see the way he just tries to flick that baseball into right field. I mean, it takes some hitters years and years to be able to acquire that ability. And his approach has been sound all season.
So he is aboard with his second hit. He's 2 for 4. And now the tying run is up. Logan Schaefer at the plate. Big swing and a miss. Schaefer had a big hit for the Brewers in the 5th. He quickly got down in the count against Mahalam to 2 strikes, but he battled back, fouled off a number of pitches, and then singled in 2 runs in the 5th inning. Schaefer came into the game for the injured Carlos Gomez, who left with a left shoulder sprain, Sophia reported. Second plate appearance for Schaefer. Oh, and 2 and a check on Segura. Well, the Brewers have been running wild on McCann. Situation that might call for a stolen base. Segura has 22 steals this year. He is tied for second in the league. And there he goes. And Schaefer fouls it away.
Try and stay out of that double play. That was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Vivaro. Excellent stuff out of the bullpen with that overhand curveball. And get into scoring position, a base hit, and get to within 1 run.
Count remains 0-2 on Schaefer. Segura with a short lead and back easy. Segura has only been caught twice this year. He's 22 out of 24 in stolen base attempts. Only Everett Cabrera of the Padres, who's currently on the disabled list, with more steals. He stays put. Schaefer fouls it away. 95-mile-an-hour fastball that time. Schaefer was in a battle in the 5th inning in the hole early. Delivered with a single. Battling again.
That whole two-strike approach that Johnny Narin has tried to implement, and a lot of guys have bought into. Just it's a new at bat. In a way to stay positive with an at bat, you get 2 strikes on it, and you consider it a good at bat if you just put the ball in play. And you saw Schaefer make that adjustment his last time up. Not trying to do too much with it, just put it in play, and you got a base hit to drive in a couple of runs.
That's a good one. Any kind of psychological edge you can get. You call it a new at bat,
right?
Make yourself an underdog, and good place to be. Mahalam went 5 innings. The lefty Avilan worked a scoreless 6th inning, and now it's Varvaro here. One out, runner at first. Tying run at the plate. And time was asked for and granted to Schaefer right before the pitch. Segura has not shown that he wants to run after that initial stolen base attempt on the pitch that was fouled off. And staying close to the bag. 0-2.
And that's just not like him. I mean, ordinarily he's going to get a big lead, and it looked as though he wants to go. And he's hovering fairly close to first base with really no intent on taking off. I don't think he can really lull you to sleep at this point. I mean, they know he wants to steal.
I mean, without knowing the condition of Segura, but if you're looking baseball strategy, maybe he wants to keep the first baseman pinned, open up a hole for the left-handed batter. That'd be the only thing I could think of. 1-2. Upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, but Schaefer not a guy that typically likes to pull the baseball, particularly with 2 strikes.
Right, especially with a guy throwing 95.
Right.
Well, whatever it is, Segura has been grounded. Not in a posture of running. 2-2 to Schaefer. Missed. Ball 3.
And that didn't miss by much, did it? Good eye by Logan Schaefer. Well, let's see if Segura wants to take off on this pitch. A 3-2 count.
Schaefer's a tough guy to double up. He'd have to hit one right at an infielder for the Braves to turn it on him. He's very fast. Full count, 1 out. Segura takes off. Schaefer strikes out. The throw to second. And safe is the call. The throw is on the wrong side. Simmons made a great pickup and almost got the out, but that'll be a stolen base for Segura.
Well, he was dead to rights at second base with even a decent throw to second, but McCann just doesn't look right behind home plate. Not much on the throw. Kind of short-armed it. Really didn't get himself in position. Look at the feet. Really never squares up. And a terrible throw to second, so Segura is safe.
Just snuck a toe in there, didn't he? Wow, that was close.
Any kind of throw, and he's out easily.
Simmons has great hands out there. So it's a strikeout for out number 2 and a pitching change here for Freddie Gonzalez. Tying run coming up here and a pitching change with 2 outs. Our text question today brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming. How do batters change their approach depending on the score of the game? Steve in Milwaukee wants to know.
Well, if it's an out-of-hand game, I mean, you see a lot of players go up there and try to hit home runs and things like that. You really don't want to do that. But in a close game like this, you're leading off an inning, you might want to take a pitch until you get a strike. You need base runners. You're going to do that. Lucroy right here, the tendency would be everybody thinking home run, but that's not his game. His approach has to remain consistent, and that's up the middle.
Lucroy homered his last time up, making it a 2-run game. Corey Guerin is on to pitch and gives the right-handed batting Lucroy a much different look on the mound. You see the day today for Lucroy at the plate presented by Wendy's.
He's been very good in these situations. He's allowed just 7 of 27 inherited runners to score. One of the tops in the NL.
Segura at second, and a sweeping breaking ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes on Lucroy.
36th appearance. He is used quite a bit. A .330 earned run average. Very unusual that you would replace a right-handed batter, a pitcher, with another right-handed pitcher against a right-handed batter. But that's what the Braves have done.
And it's 3-0 on Lucroy. Well, you wonder if Lucroy's got the green light here. 3-0. He's hitting .371. Go back his last 97 at bats. He's 36 for 97 and a red hot hitter at the plate. 3-0 is a strike.
And he's got his batting average up to .279. Amazing stuff. He was at 208 at one point. He's got a couple of hits today, a base hit to drive in a run, or I should say a base hit to right, and then a 2-run home run to get the Brewers right back in this game.
All part of that 4-run fifth. That's outside, ball 4, and the tying run is aboard now. Corey Guerin walks Lucroy, and here comes Ricky Weeks representing the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, the natural instinct on a guy like Guerin is to pull that front shoulder with that sidearm delivery, but you really have to stay committed and stay disciplined to close yourself up and try and drive it into right field. That's something Ricky's been doing a much better job of lately.
Yeah, Weeks has been a hot hitter as well. 2 on, 2 out, and that's in there for a strike. Weeks hit a home run in Houston that brought the Brewers back. It was a 1-0 deficit at the time. Weeks hit an 8th inning home run, a 2-run shot to give Milwaukee the lead. As Ricky Weeks has gotten into a platoon situation with Scooter Gennett, more favorable matchups on the mound for him. A lot of left-handed pitching, and he has responded. Ball and a strike. 2-1 the count.
You see Guerin's going to work predominantly away. He doesn't come inside too much. That's why Ricky has to concentrate on just driving it up the middle. Don't try and pull it. Guys like this are very tough on right-handed batters.
Weeks hitting at a .350 clip over his last 21 games. 2 balls and a strike, and he waves and misses. Sweeping hook by Guerin. It's 2-2.
We're talking about, you start that bat soon, the front shoulder flies open, and you really have no chance in that pitch away.
And now Guerin back in the driver's seat. Weeks looking for a mistake. 2 outs in the inning. Brewers down 2. And he lays off a tough breaking ball. 3-2 the count. And this will give the runners a head start now, which means anything down the line to the wall or in the gap, Lucroy might have a chance to score. Here's a big pitch. Full count, 2 outs. Runners go, and Weeks lays off. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks issued by Guerin, and the bases are loaded now. Freddie Gonzalez pulled the right-hander Barbaro. And Ricky Weeks follows the Lucroy walk with one of his own.
6-pitch at bat for Ricky Weeks. So Guerin get ahead with him. Well, everything's going to be away. He's not going to mess around with anything on the inner half of the plate. Doesn't want to give up a home run. Ricky's waved at the slider, continued to stay away, and just couldn't find the corner. And a big walk for Ricky Weeks, and that's going to end the day for Guerin.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez makes the call, and 2 batters. New pitcher coming in, pinch hitter coming up. Reminder that our Feltco All-Star voting update shows you the top Brewer contenders in the voting: Segura, Gomez, and Braun. All-Star game exclusively on Fox, July 16th from Citi Field in Flushing, New York. So Freddie Gonzalez making yet another pitching change here, and the 3rd right-hander in the inning for Gonzalez. Jordan Walden on the pitch.
Yeah, they got a couple of guys left. You know, Alex Wood, the left-hander, he's pitched a lot, probably not available. Kimball, the closer, and David Carpenter. The only 3 guys in the bullpen. Walden had 32 saves with the Angels in 2011. His numbers are very good. Matter of fact, they're all good out of that Braves bullpen. And he was involved in a trade with the Angels that sent Tommy Hanson to California.
He's a strikeout pitcher. Ron Renicky will counter with Juan Francisco. He'll take a shot at it with some power at the plate. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The Brewers have the tying run at second base. Francisco takes one off the kneecaps. The former Brave, Francisco, has an RBI single in this series. Big pinch hit moment for him here. Segura is over at third. Had a single and a stolen base. Lucroy and Weeks both walked. And Francisco pops it up a mile high. That's going to stay playable. And McCann makes a catch, and a golden opportunity loss for the Brewers. They strand the bases loaded. 6-4 Atlanta. We go to the 8th. Brian McCann. They led 6-0 at one point, but the Brewers come storming back. A 4-run fifth. Logan Schaefer drove in a pair with a single. And then Jonathan Lucroy delivered with a 2-run home run. And the Brewers within 2 had a chance last inning with the bases loaded. Francisco pops out in foul territory. He'll stay in the game to play first. And in a 6-4 game in the 8th inning, Michael Gonzalez, the former Brave, is on to pitch. 3 of the next 4 hitters are left-handed for Atlanta.
Yeah, Gonzalez pitched a scoreless inning in yesterday's ball game against the Braves. You see his numbers at .360 earned run average. The Braves have the best bullpen in the National League statistically. The Brewers third. So the Brewers bullpen has been very good.
Well, here's Schaefer now. He's had a big day today. 4 hits, a home run. He's a triple away from the cycle. Has a double, a home run, and 2 singles. He's also stolen a base. He scored twice.
And he's made a couple of nice defensive plays and left.
Schaefer starting for Justin Upton today, who's missing his 2nd consecutive game with a hand injury. Gonzalez trying to carry it forward. The bullpen has been outstanding today, and there's a pop-up, shallow left. Segura is calling, and he's got it for the out. Foul territory. 1 away for Michael Gonzalez.
Next batter, the shortstop, Andrelton Simmons.
That'll bring up Andrelton Simmons now. Brewers won the first 2 games of this series. Trying to make it a sweep of the Braves. They'll have to make it a comeback today to earn the sweep of Atlanta, the division leaders in the National League East. Milwaukee will take a day off tomorrow, and then the Cubs are here Tuesday. And then the next road trip, Brewers will go to Pittsburgh and Washington, D.C. That's a 4-game series in our nation's capital. 4th of July in Washington, D.C. That seems all right.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Early start on 4th of July, isn't it? Like 11 o'clock Eastern?
Yeah, I think so. Be a breakfast with the Brewers here in the Central Time Zone.
Literally.
Simmons pops it up. Francisco just into the game, foul territory, and he makes a catch. It wasn't pretty, but it's done. And the 2nd out of the inning. All things new over at first base for Juan Francisco.
Well, at least he's used to being in foul territory. He was a 3rd baseman. Able to haul it in. You don't get style points in this game. You just got to catch them. Nobody's judging you.
The Polish judge had that one on a high mark on Polish Heritage Day.
Yeah, it didn't stick the landing.
There's a strike to Hayward. Oh, and 2 the count. Brewers bullpen has put up not just a great run this year, but against the Atlanta Braves specifically. Over 25 scoreless innings against Atlanta going back a couple of seasons. Home teams have dominated this series. Last year the home team won every game. Yikes.
Nice catch.
That was a nice catch. That was headed for the rib cage.
Actually was headed for his back. He turned himself around, was able to catch it.
With all that padding up front, oh man, that was self-defense.
Yeah, home plate umpire screaming on that. Well done, Luke.
You can almost hear Jerry Narron in the dugout saying, that's what your chest protector is for. a former big league catcher, Jerry Narron. The 2-2. Got him. Gonzalez sharp in the 8th. 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout. 6-4 Atlanta. The Brewers 6 outs to work with. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the order coming up.
Inning, one of the main reasons is how well the bullpen has been able to do. Called the duty in the 4th inning today. They've kept this team in it.
That's something they've been doing all year long. You look what they've been doing today. 4 2/3 of shutout baseball, keeping the Brewers in the ball game.
Jerry and I getting ready for Brewers Live post-game on the way. Following the game, full reaction from the clubhouse. And our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game goes to Gene Segura, stolen base number 23 on the season. That's good for 2nd in the National League. But the Brewers, that happened back in the 7th, left 3 on. So they got to try to get him back here in this at-bat, Brian.
All right, Craig and Augie, thanks. And here we go to the bottom of the 8th. Jeff Bianchi will lead off against a very tough right-hander on the mound, Jordan Walden, who got Francisco to pop up into foul territory, stranding the bases loaded. Freddie Gonzalez asking 4 outs out of his setup man.
Walden's got that little hesitation in his delivery that can make it very difficult to, pick up the baseball. Everything normal here, but then a little bit of a hop. Actually jumps off the pitching rubber before he gets rid of the baseball. Not many do that.
There's a little bit of a Rob Nen look to it. Little tap, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. And look how much closer he gets to the plate with that hop.
I mean, you're talking 6 inches. Is that legal?
And he strikes out Bianchi. Well, he is nasty. This is a tough order for the Brewers to come back against this bullpen. Down to their last 5 outs.
They've been so good for so long, they're due. Hey, come out to Miller Park on Friday, July 19th for Zuba Palooza for just $34. Get a Lowe's outfield box ticket to the game against the Marlins, plus a pair of Zuba's pants. Visit brewers.com/special events for details. Zuba's Palooza. I got inside information that we will be getting some of those Zuba's pants. So if we get the okay from the ivory tower, we should wear them that day.
I'm in. I'm all in. Be the first time you'd wore pants of that name. No, it'd be like going back in time for you.
Yeah, I mean, I still have them. Break him out on an off day.
Caleb Gendel into right field. Hayward feeling for the wall. He's got it for the out. Hit it hard, but out number 2. Well, a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. So 2 outs in the 8th, and Scooter Gennett will pinch hit. Braves jumped on Alfredo Figueroa early today. 6 runs, 4 of them in the first inning on 1 swing of the bat. Grand slam by McCann. It was 6-0 after 4 innings. The Brewers scored 4 in the bottom of the 5th, and that's where we sit. 6-4. Braves have out hit the Brew Crew 12-9. And Gennett pops it up. This is going to be an easy inning for Jordan Walden. 1, 2, 3, retired 4 straight. And we head to the 9th. Come back from a 6-0 deficit to make it a ball game here at Miller Park. Well, don't forget our post-game instructional coming your way. We're going to dive in with Joe Crawford, the Brewers video coordinator. All eyes watching. That's one of Joe's cameras there as he does his video scouting for the Brewers. That's in our post-game instructional tonight. There's Joe and his high-tech setup in the Brewers clubhouse. Oftentimes you see a Brewer hitter have an at-bat, he'll immediately leave, go down into the clubhouse. He heads right in there to Joe's office to take a look at the particular pitch or the swing. Big brother is always watching.
Yeah, there's some interesting camera angles, available to them. They can see just about every angle of every at-bat. Pitcher's the same way. Jim Henderson takes over. 27th appearance for Henderson. 175 earned run average.
Trying to keep the Braves at 6. Freddie Freeman, first ball swinging, got jammed a little bit, and Schaefer will make the catch for out number 1.
Freddie Freeman is going to be glad to get out of town. The Brewers have been tough on him in this series, and he came in a hot hitter.
Yeah, he took the collar in this series. He did walk and score in the first inning, but no hits. So here's B.J. Upton. Looking ahead to the Brewers' 9th inning, top of the order coming up. And they're going to have to do it against one of the best in the business, Craig Kimbrell. Upton is 0 for 3 today. A big out in the 6th inning. He grounded out with a couple of men on base. a strike. Gorzelani was allowed to stay in the game in that 6th inning. That was Gorzelani's last hitter. The bullpen has been terrific again. Starting with Gorzelani, 2 2/3 scoreless. Kinsler and Michael Gonzalez with scoreless innings as well. Kinsler worked the 7th. Gonzalez a 3 up, 3 down 8th. And now Henderson trying to do the same in the 9th. Upton draws a walk. So a base stealer is aboard for Atlanta with 1 away. And a man on for McCann.
Next batter, the catcher, Brian
McCann with a grand slam in the 1st. That came with 2 outs. Figueroa was a pitch away from getting out of a bases loaded jam and had struck out a couple of batters. Matter of fact, Figueroa struck out the side in that inning, but McCann had that big hit. Figueroa ended up going 3 1/3 with 9 hits allowed, 6 earned runs.
And just had a difficult time in trying to get ahead in the count with his breaking pitch. Curveballs today, and as opposed to the sliders that he was able to throw his first few starts. Still trying to figure out his off-speed pitches.
Now the Brewers have a day off tomorrow. They will not need a 5th starter until the Saturday game in Pittsburgh. Some decisions to be made. Marco Estrada made a rehab start today. He struggled. Had 2 scoreless innings and then give up 6 runs in the 3rd in his rehab start in Appleton. That ball's whistled into right center. Upton on his way to 3rd base, 1st and 3rd with 1 out is Brian McCann with his 3rd hit of the day.
Yeah, quick bat through the strike zone. The fastball from Henderson right down the middle of the plate. And talk about squaring one up. That's what McCann does right here, right back into center field. Upton easily into 3rd base.
Well, you got to keep the Braves at 6. So now Dan Uggla. Uggla with 3 strikeouts today, has a double. Brewers would love to turn a double play and get out of this inning. Uggla comes up empty again. It's got to do something to you psychologically to swing and miss so much.
Oh, it does, believe me.
You know from firsthand experience.
Absolutely,
huh?
yeah. I mean, you go up there and you're just trying to make contact. You feel as though you get a good pitch to hit early in the count. And you wonder why guys are notorious first ball, fastball hitters, because they don't want to get to 2 strikes.
Yeah, and Uggla's been swinging early in the counts.
Right.
And that's how it goes for him right now. He's swinging at the pitches out of the zone. He takes a pitch and it's a strike on the corner. No balls, 2 strikes. Uggla lays off.
And he is a mistake hitter and a good one. You make a mistake on him like Figueroa made, back in the 3rd inning, you hang a breaking ball and he's going to get a hit. You make good pitches on him, you can get him out.
Well, despite a 191 batting average, Uggla has 13 home runs. Bouncing ball right side, through for a base hit. That's going to bring in a run, and that one hurts right there. Dan Uggla comes up with a big hit for the Braves in the 9th.
And does something that he very rarely does, and that's go to right field and hits a ground ball in that direction. Yeah, shortening up is Dan Uggla. A slider from Henderson. outer half, and you can see it making a concerted effort is Uggla to just trying to shorten up and punch it that way, and gets a base hit and drives in a big run.
Makes it 7-4. First and second with one out now. And here's Paul Janisch. Came in defensively for Chris Johnson a couple of innings ago. His first at bat in the big leagues this year. Janisch brought up from AAA Gwinnett to start this series. In the air to left, playable for Gendel. 2 outs. And Freddie Gonzalez is going to go to his bench now, and Tyler Pastornicki will hit in the pitcher spot.
Yeah, both teams with one player left on their bench. Gerald Laird, the other catcher for the Braves, and Aramis Ramirez from Milwaukee. Both bullpens have been busy, and both benches have been busy.
Two outs, 2 on. Pastornicki takes a ball. And there's Craig Kimbrell. Pastornicki was Atlanta's opening day shortstop last season. But it was only a matter of time until Andrelton Simmons was promoted. That job looks like it's Simmons for a while now. Pastornicki playing more second base these days than short. There's the future for Atlanta. You can do a lot with an organization when you have a great young shortstop. That is the envy of every ball club, and not every team can say that. The Brewers are fortunate to have one after a trade with the Angels. Zach Greinke bringing Gene Segura to Milwaukee.
A great young shortstop, very good defensively, which is the most important. But when you get offense like you do out of Segura, I mean, that's the brass ring.
Tyler Pastornicki's father, Cliff Pastornicki, was the scout who signed Zach Greinke with the Royals. I believe he's with the Blue Jays now, his dad. Brewers lost a great shortstop to get Greinke in the first place, Alcides Escobar, but got one back and a division title with it.
And you now have a shortstop that you can build your organization around. With Escobar, I don't think that was the case. And this is a special talent that you have at short right now from Milwaukee.
Escobar fits more into the Andrelton Simmons mold. Tall, rangy, great defense.
Right. He'll give you some offense.
Now, what has made Segura so impressive? You know, he's hitting second in the lineup. He's hitting his home runs. He's on a great pace, obviously. He's got 11 already. Over 30 runs batted in, but he's stealing bases, scoring a lot of runs. Filling up the stat sheets, many offensive categories. There's a swing and a miss. Pastornicki strikes out. Hitting over, but the Braves get a tack-on run. So it's 7-4. Top of the order coming up against Craig Kimbrell. Jonathan Lucroy with a home run center field, a 2-run shot. Came with 1 out in the 5th inning, and it brought the Brewers within 2. 6-4 at the time Atlanta had the lead. The Braves have added 1 to it. Got a run in the 9th. They lead 7-4. Last call for the Brew Crew as the top of the order is due up. Aoki, Segura, and Schaefer. Brewers would love to get Lucroy another swing here. Going to take at least 1 base runner. Craig Kimbrel is on to pitch. And with 20 saves on the season, Kimbrel has burst onto the scene like very few in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, 191 games in his career in his first 3+ seasons and 109 saves. I mean, you're talking about a guy that averages almost 2 strikeouts per 9 innings throughout his career. A tough customer, but he has blown 3 saves. But he's got 3 runs to play with today.
Former Rookie of the Year back in 2011. Has led the league in saves the last 2 seasons, 46 and 42, and he's already at 20 this year. He's one of the best. Brewers down 3. Aoki leads off. Kimbrel misses inside.
97, 99 miles an hour. He's got a slider to go with it and throws a lot of strikes.
And the strikeout numbers just eye-popping for Craig Kimbrel. It's one thing to have a strikeout per inning. That's good. But 322 Ks, you said?
Yeah.
187 innings?
Right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Look at that career earned run average. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
1 ball, 1 strike on Aoki. That one's in there for a strike. 1-2 now. Kimbrel blew those 3 saves in a 5-game stretch, late April to early May. Hasn't blown a save since. Hasn't given up a run since May 9th, or May 7th, actually. He gave up 2 runs in a blown save against the Reds on May 7th. And he has been flawless since. He's only given up 5 earned runs all year. All 5 of those runs came in that 5-game window with those 3 blown saves. 1-2. Got him. Aoki strikes out.
That's a nasty slider too he's got. Late breaker going down and in on Aoki. As pours the strikes in. Look at this. Tough guy to strike out. And Kimbrel able to get him.
As a matter of fact, Aoki is the hardest to fan in the National League. He only strikes out about every 19.5 plate appearances, and Kimbrel wipes him out. So 1 gone for Segura. Say, we talk about building an organization around a shortstop. You can build a lot around the closer too. That changes everything when you have a lockdown closer.
But there aren't many that can do it for 10, 15 years in a row. You never know when injuries are going to pop up. And with a guy that throws as hard and has that electric slider like Kimbrel, you never know. Tough thing to predict, relief pitchers. But he's a good one.
Just 25 years of age. Oh, 2 to Segura. Got him. Back-to-back Ks for Kimbrel.
Slider, fastball up, and a 3-pitch strikeout.
Well, the Braves jumped out to a 6-0 lead today. Brewers fought back, scored 4 in the 5th. But now down to their last out after the 2nd strikeout for Kimbrel.
And not often you're going to come back on an Atlanta Braves pitching staff, when you get down 6-0 early.
Give credit to the Braves bullpen. Well, it was a day that the Brewers lost their center fielder, Carlos Gomez. Don't know the extent of the injury. Left shoulder sprain for Gomez. Making a great catch up against the center field fence. Brewers will enjoy a day off tomorrow, and we'll have the news for you on Tuesday concerning Gomez. And still more questions in starting rotation for the Brewers, with Figueroa scuffling today, giving up 6 earned runs in 3 1/3. Oh, 0-2 to Schaefer. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brewers won the first 2 games of the series. They shut out the Braves in back-to-back games. Quickly erased today with a grand slam by McCann in the first inning. Two and 2 on Logan Schaefer. And a little cue shot that is caught in the air by Giannis, and that's how the ball game ends. So Kimbrel saves number 21, and the Braves salvage the final game of the series by a final score of 7-4. Mahalam picks up the win, Kimbrel the save. Alfredo Figueroa suffers the loss. Well, a winning series for the Brewers. They'll take a day off tomorrow, welcome in the Cubs Tuesday as we check in with Craig Kashawn. Time for Brewers Live.
All right, Brian, thanks very much.